Crossover.
Oh, killer crossover.
Just crossover. It just crossed him over nastily. Another victim to the crossovers. Cross him up and sit him down.
Crossover powered by Everlevel Concrete's repair in Omaha at everlevelconcrete.com. Guys, the Woj is retired.
Woj! No, he's still going to be around.
I know.
He's going to...
New job.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's going to GM the Bonnies.
The hell does that mean?
I'm not really sure, but that's where we are now, is general managers in the pro and college level.
I mean, like a GM at an NBA level identifies talent.
Yes.
And negotiates with the talent. I assume that's what he's doing for St. Bonaventure.
Yeah.
Nick Hanley.
Yes.
Do you know where in the country St. Bonaventure University is?
New York?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Which part?
I'm going to say it is in upstate.
Yeah, It's It's Western New York. It's not quite up. It's not upstate. Western New York.
Yeah.
It's a couple hours away from Cleveland. A couple hours away from Pittsburgh. Hour away from Buffalo. A couple hours away from Toronto. 6 hours away from the city.
Gary's got a bib on.
Oh, he just wants a reaction. All right, he just wants a reaction.
Is this for your daughter?
It's pretty good, actually.
I have a 1620 The Zone one. It's hung up on my little cubicle.
So you're saying that your daughter doesn't want it? She doesn't love listening to
But
Power?
they already got her a 1620 The Baby.
But I think this is for you.
I do love listening to Power 1069 to be
See?
completely
fair.
And so can your daughter.
Yeah.
You can always use more bibs, right?
She doesn't really need a bib yet. You know?
She will.
Why are you looking at me? I wouldn't know.
She doesn't really need a bib.
Yeah. So well, good for Woj.
Today is the last day
to vote
until the playoffs, potentially, that the Kansas City Royals will play against an American League team.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Because it's the Giants this weekend.
Yeah.
I knew they had a stretch.
They have 9 straight to end the season.
Who do they end with?
Braves.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Are you going to be torn today?
I am very concerned. Thank you for asking, Gary. I am very concerned.
The runners in scoring position was a little bit rough last night.
This is not good at all. Not good.
Well, I said, are you torn because of your guy is pitching against your team today?
I do like Drake Skubal.
AL Cy Young's wrapped up. It's okay.
Good hand gestures there.
Yeah. They beat Reagan's last night. We might have to beat Mr. Skubal today. Otherwise, I will be sent into a spiraling situation.
Well, all of you guys, except for me, because last night was one step closer to the end of the regular season.
Yes.
When you can't beat the A's.
No.
No. You are a little bit of now you're 2 games back of the
brink.
Mets. Yeah, the Reds didn't help last night.
Braves got up 3-0 in the top of the first and lost 6-5.
Did you guys see the injury? The pitcher Williamson for Cincinnati.
No.
Oh, that was he. So he threw a pitch.
Oh, no.
I think it was Michael Harris was at the plate, and you could tell that he was in trouble. And you can read his lips. He goes, "I heard a pop."
So good.
The Guardians lost last night, but they're still in a good position.
Sure did.
They have a bunch of randos off the street that.
Miles Straw's coming in now. Look at that.
This is the Guardians every year.
Stephen Kwan's going on the IL, and here come the Miles Straw.
The Guardians have a bunch of randos in their bullpen that are all nails.
Yep.
I know, and they turn into incredible players every time. Who's this Corey Kluber guy? Oh, I guess he's just the best pitcher in baseball for like 5 years. Where'd he come from? I have no idea.
Remember Cliff Lee?
Yeah. Yeah.
He was a little bit of a somebody before that, though. But
they created, what's his name?
CC.
Meanwhile, I'm rooting for the Gwinnett Stripers over here.
Hey, he hit 2 home runs last night, right?
Who?
Ozzy.
Yes.
So
Gwinnett,
so he is back this weekend.
Yes.
I think Josh means that his team looks like the Gwinnett Stripers.
I'm sorry, I knew he was on a rehab there. I saw that he hit 2 home runs.
If we're talking about your farm system, let's talk about Spencer Schwellenbach and how well he did coming up. I just think it's crazy. Detroit is a game and a half out of the wild card.
It's very crazy.
It's a good American sports
story. In fact,
story.
it's so crazy that there's no way it could happen.
It's a great American sports story.
No way it could happen, right? I would really not like for that to happen.
I want the Mariners to get in.
No.
Oh.
Stop it. The playoffs are closed.
Let's just talk about the Mariners.
Three teams out of the Central.
When the count is 3-0 and the bases are loaded and you decide to steal home, you don't deserve to be in the postseason.
Oh, no.
Victor Robles last night, I'm not sure exactly what he was trying to do.
The playoffs are closed. Okay. Seattle, sorry. The season ended.
What about the Tigers?
The Tigers, nope, sorry. The season is over.
As long as Tariq Skubal wins the Cy Young, I need nothing more from the Detroit Tigers.
No, they have a bunch of randos playing.
No, just keep it exactly the way it is right now. Nothing has to change. Nothing has to change. Nick gets to be happy.
And I didn't think I would be.
Yeah.
That's okay. We're going to be rumored to get Juan Soto and not get him. So yeah, I'll be okay.
Correct. Josh, unfortunately, you've missed the playoffs. Sorry, the season's over.
That's okay. I mean, wasn't meant.
It
to
wasn't
be
meant to
with
be
all those injuries.
And
you're cursed this year.
Oh, look at that! The Royals are the second wild card. That's great.
Braves played with their opening day lineup exactly one game this year. Opening day.
Dang,
not great.
You've been cursed.
Yeah,
that's 2 straight years you've had major injuries. All right. Well, you had a 40-70 season last year.
Yeah.
Bobby's 30-30.
I said today to Nick, I said,
again,
because the era is different and it's social media and there's more access to highlights and games, Bobby Witt Jr. by the end of his career will be bigger than George Brett.
Well, he has to win a lot. He has to
win one World Series.
If he wins something, yes, I would agree with that.
He could win. He's going to win the MVP at the age of 24. He's got 2 30-30 seasons.
He's not going to win the MVP.
I think he will.
Well,
I was even watching.
I hope he will.
So,
to be clear,
watching the Mariners game last night with the Yankees after Judge drives in 4.
He's not going to win the MVP.
Even the Yankees were talking about Judge, but then they mentioned Bobby Witt Jr. went 30, got his stolen base, so he's a 30-30 guy.
He's in their head.
Yeah, that unfortunately that just doesn't. It doesn't have.
But
the
it
same
is not
effect.
a slam dunk that a Yankee having a great year is going to win the MVP.
It kind of is, though.
Is he still on that homer drought?
Look at the Yankee MVPs.
No, he had one.
They are not as plentiful as you would imagine.
So I'm looking at awards on the FanDuel Sportsbook right now, and they don't have the MVP up at the moment. Maybe they're changing it, or something like that, or maybe Aaron Judge is hurt.
No,
that's not true.
No, he looked okay.
Yeah, I think he's okay. But they do have the Rookies of the Year votes up, or odds up.
Merrill,
2 Yankees. 2 Yankees lead the way. Luis Gil and Austin Wells. And in the National League, Jackson Merrill. Leads Paul Skeens in odds.
Jackson Merrill, I think, is 24 homers and 86 RBIs.
Mr. Skiness. Yeah, the Padres are kind of back to being fun again.
Yeah.
Were you guys following what was going on in the world yesterday and realizing that maybe you need to get your Castellanos bet in before they took it off the board?
Was there something?
Yeah, the pager incident yesterday.
The pager?
Yeah, the pagers.
Yeah, I saw a headline that said pagers go off, and I went, wait, what year is this?
What happened to the pagers? Hezbollah?
No.
Hezbollah. Yeah.
Not the little guy.
We're not supposed to say their name. This is some Muhammad situation.
What do you mean? What happened? Hezbollah's pager went off?
I missed that
little guy from Turkey?
There's a bunch of pagers that went like they were explosives.
My God.
Yeah. If someone hands me a pager, I immediately think it's suspicious. It's 2024.
Yeah. I didn't see this. I didn't see this about the pagers.
Yeah, that happened. So, and Nick Castellanos did have a home run last night.
Well,
it's usually if Castellanos had a home run, you have to go. If you weren't aware of something that happened, you go back in the day, like, did something major happen? And then you realize, that. And Castellanos had one.
Yeah, probably just don't have pagers.
I mean, yeah, there is that part.
A lot of wow. I'm just looking at this news story right now.
This
is
bad.
bad.
It's pretty bad.
Bad.
It was pretty bad.
This is bad. I thought the way you said it, I thought Hezbollah's pager went off. That's my bad.
No, it's all right.
I'm TikTok pilled.
It's okay.
That didn't cross your feed on TikTok?
No, I wasn't on there last night.
Oh,
okay. I had to leave here, went to the doctor, and then went home, and then just nonstop crying.
You've
the
been
whole
drained.
night.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah.
The whole night.
Oh,
I mean, it's okay.
From
You
sun
still
up
are
to
in the
sundown.
postseason.
Yeah, that was me. I didn't get to watch him very much last night, but I wasn't that sad that I missed it because I knew what was going to happen anyway.
That's okay. We're a couple years away from Unc Gary babysitting.
Sure.
Yeah, you don't want them in the formative years, like when they're a couple of months.
Impressionable.
Yeah. I like
Right
to get
now,
them-
they're not impressionable for anything. I could nothing. They won't remember anything right now. That's what the doctor was saying because she's got these little skin tags on her
Yeah.
ears,
Yeah.
and she kind of looks like Shrek a little bit. And,
oh yeah.
and so we're trying to zap
Yeah.
those suckers off, and the doctor's like, if you get them anytime before a year, she's not going to remember or know anything about it. She'll just
Mhm.
ask, what are these little scars like? On what is this from?
You know how I got these scars.
Exactly. That's her origin story. The
I lived,
joke.
I lived
Can I
on
tell
the
you a
mean
story?
streets of Omaha.
Yeah. Yep.
You want to know how I got these scars?
Adam says, stick to sports. Stick to sports, Nick. Bringing up world events.
Oh yeah, because Castellanos had a home run.
Yeah.
As soon as he hits a home run, you got to assume something major or something bad happened.
Travis says, good God, Connor. Sorry, I wasn't caught up on my worldwide news. I didn't watch Lester Time last night.
It's okay.
I
He
missed
would have covered
too.
it.
Lester Holt.
I was cooking.
Yeah, Lester Time, as Josh calls it. By the way,
Lester time.
Josh,
I'm Lester Holt.
there's another Lester Time as of this morning. Is this correct?
There is?
At CVS?
Oh, yes.
What?
The CBS by our radio station here, there's a gentleman who
It might be our guy.
Hangs out outside.
That might be our guy.
It might.
It might-
Pretty
might-
close proximity.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Lassoing the fire hydrant named Lester.
Oh,
CVS employees seem to know him.
and he was lassoing the fire hydrant.
Yeah.
Well, they got a call that he was lassoing
Yeah.
the fire hydrant, and then they went into the store and they were like, "Oh no, he comes in, he hangs out."
He's
does
fine.
that.
He doesn't bother us.
Yeah.
And then the police said nothing illegal about lassoing
Yeah.
the fire hydrant.
How's his lasso
Seriously,
game?
can't get me on that.
He's maybe practicing for the River City Roundup.
Yeah.
I didn't know that he had a lasso.
I think anything can be a lasso.
I guess so. Maybe even just the air.
Maybe he was a former cowboy.
Maybe.
Maybe.
I would
Maybe-
assume that's our guy. Our
Yeah.
guy who
He
walks
probably doesn't
around
venture very far from us.
Sure.
close proximity.
Very he knows the surroundings where he can lay down and take a nap.
Yeah.
Get
What?
some free coffee.
Who's friendly? Who's not?
This was 3 weeks ago as I was leaving on a Friday. I don't think it was the same guy. It was just a different guy. He walked up the parking lot and I'm like, oh, okay. Just that guy's out wandering, looked a little suspicious, came back around. And before I knew it, he was in front of my car on the Sweet 98 vehicle. And he like smacked the hood trying to get my attention.
Yeah.
And I just gave him one of these.
Hey, what's up, bud?
Yep. I gave him a, yeah.
Nice. That was the guy. Was it the same guy with the stick from a couple weeks ago?
Yeah, yes, it was. It was the same guy. with the stick,
He
yeah.
had the stick and he was banging on that
Yeah.
door out there.
Yes. Yeah. He just wanted
I'm
to
like,
get my
hey,
attention.
bud. Hope you have a good afternoon.
It was the what's up, brother? That's essentially what I
What's
gave
up?
him. Like,
What's up, brother?
what's up, brother?
Tuesday.
Yeah. I should have done that.
That guy's 15 minutes got up.
You know where he is trying to get back into the game is sliding into Haktua Girls, Haley Welch's podcast.
Wait a minute.
Oh wow.
Hang on. I'm not this deep in the game. What's going on?
So, he revealed that he was having a little rough portion of his life, maybe made a decision that he wasn't proud of.
Yes, I did know about that.
And then while he was fading,
Yes.
she came along
Yes.
and she's taken off.
Well, I mean, she took off.
Her podcast is actually pretty good.
No, it's
it is.
it's not.
So I'm now
No,
wondering,
it's not.
I'm wondering if her and
Talk
Pookie
to
will
her?
get together.
To
Whole
talk to her?
question: do you listen to Talk to?
Talk to her.
Well,
Yes, I know. I've known this because Gary mentioned this last
It's
week
not
that he is
good.
that he's a fan.
no. She is okay. So I was
Great.
very suspect early on Haley Welch. I think that she is, like normal.
She's like normal.
And I'm wondering if her and Pookie are going to get together because she has a off and on relationship with Pookie,
That's the guy from
and
yeah.
he's a construction worker
Yeah.
in Nashville. They're both 24
Mhm.
and they've never officially been out on a date. So that was the latest. That was the latest episode.
So you listened to a whole episode?
Yeah. How long are these eps, by the way? Are they 30 minutes?
Well, I was for a good 8 minutes.
2 episodes up on YouTube. Episode 1 appears to be 56 minutes. Episode 2 appears to be a shorter 30 minutes.
Oh, she ran out of stuff to say already? That's interesting.
Episode 1 is a conversation with comedian Whitney Cummings. Episode 2 is titled "I Told Granny About Hawk Tua."
Wait. He does. Wait. There's something with Whitney Cummings.
Yes.
As in
the
failed project that Mike Schaefer agreed with me on, the TV show Whitney, which was terrible.
Yes.
Awful.
So they're together.
In episode 2 of Talk Tua, Haley brings in
the
people that mean the most to her. She's joined by 3 of her longtime best friends, and of course,
the
Granny.
one friend.
Haley and her friends break down the night that changed all of their lives forever, and Granny gives her first reaction to hearing Hawk Tua. Haley and her friends take us to some of the most important places growing up as they spill about their ex-boyfriends, a typical night going out, and how they all met. Haley addresses some of the conspiracy theories around her rise to fame, and Granny gives us the secrets to staying youthful and finding a man. That is a lot of ground to cover in 25 minutes.
Because you guys seem to be a little bit agitated by her rise to fame.
I am.
I'm officially You should be very happy that Tua got knocked out by the Dolphins.
So he's going to have some time to be on with her?
Because you know what is this weekend?
Co-host?
The Seahawks and the Dolphins. It could have been Hawk Tua game.
Oh, no.
Oh, we officially have Hawk Tua.
I think if you listen to her, she seems like very small town Tennessean who was thrust into the spotlight because she was out having a good night on Broadway in Nashville, got asked a question, and she said, and then she blew up, and the next thing you know, she's throwing out the first pitch at a Mets game.
That's fine.
And Grimace is upset that she got welcome back and he hasn't. So that's why Grimace is back at the Mets.
How many episodes of this podcast do you think there will ever be? Over under 4.5?
Well, I don't know, man.
She already ran out of stuff to talk about. It was the second episode.
Hey, did they ever ask?
I'll go the overall.
Okay, did they ever ask the best friend, the friend, the one that has to be with her everywhere? Did she ever go on a date with the original interviewer? Because remember, he gets her number.
Wow. Maybe that's covered in episode 2.
I mean, I should ask Gary. Do we know?
I'm more if like her and Pookie are going to get together.
I love you, Pookie.
That's. I'm sure that'll be covered in episode 3.
I saw,
and then it's over.
I forget the comedian who said this. It would be really weird if an adult film actress became famous without anyone seeing her material. And that is what has happened here.
It kind of is.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is. Like, do we know she can talk in a sober
approach
state?
The 24-year-old with an open mind.
No.
Talk to her.
No, I'm angry. I'm less angry about this than I am about Indiana's rise to fame. But
Kurt Signetti and them boys.
I'm very angry about that. But I'm slightly less angry
getting
about
PJ Fleck vibes?
Talk to a. Oh, I hate him more than PJ Fleck.
Whoa. That didn't take very long.
It did not.
He's been in the league for 3 weeks.
Yes. I don't like him. I don't like him. I don't like them. I think they're fake news.
I have a question here about. I heard you guys when I walked back in. I'm talking about Woj and his big move. So Shams has to replace him on ESPN, right? Shams is a free agent.
I mean, they better.
Is Shams a free agent?
Yeah.
He's not risen up that one lady.
Kay Adams.
She's dating Daniel Jones.
Oh yeah,
Dan
He's
Jones.
not risen.
You like that?
I did like that. I like it a lot.
See, this is what I know. This is my wheelhouse.
I love when
she's not dating.
I love when
Daniel
Hip Connor comes.
She
up.
is.
She just loves Daniel Jones.
No, she apparently admitted to it.
She's not dating Daniel Jones.
She said she's dating Daniel Jones.
No, she said that. She's not actually doing it.
Wait a minute.
It's fake news.
I'm serious.
So all those
she's
times,
not.
all those women in my life that said they've dated me were not true.
Well, I'm just saying she's not, and she just declared it. It's like Michael Scott declaring bankruptcy.
I declare bankruptcy.
She just declared she was dating Daniel Jones. She's not dating Daniel Jones.
I would think if you're in that role, that's a big deal. You just can't declare that you're dating someone.
When talking to Giants guard, I'm not even going to try and pronounce that name. You got to protect your boy, my boy. The world and the internet thinks he's my boy, Adams quipped, seemingly putting the rumors to rest.
And then she said, we're dating, I believe.
Yeah.
But they're not. They're not. She declared it. She's a liar.
So Shams, I mean, maybe.
She needs to go back to Shams.
It didn't
So
take
he's a
Fremont
free
Fred
agent.
long, by
Could
the
he
way.
go to ESPN? But my question is, when
That's a certainty, isn't it?
do they have money? They're going to hire Barkley and Shams. They're just hiring everybody.
Yeah.
I think Jeff Passan is new basketball and baseball guy.
Yes, yeah, probably. Well, wasn't what Schefter was doing? What the hell wasn't Schefter doing both at one point? Just to God, what the hell was it?
I'm not sure.
Like Schefter broke a story.
He's a scoop whore.
Yeah.
Did he do an NBA or MLB one at one point? This was recent, where I thought he did one. I'm
I think
like,
it was
wait a
like
minute.
the NBA.
Okay,
And
think
people
it
were like,
was.
whoa, what's going on?
Yeah.
But do you think when Woj is at St. Bonaventure, like his phone will ask him if he's okay when his screen time massively falls
why
off?
are you using this more?
Hello.
This is weird.
Connor tickets are available for Royals postseason.
Yeah, I saw the tweet and I just decided to skip right over it.
Okay.
Why?
I
You don't
am
sound very confident.
yesterday, or maybe it was Monday, Josh. Monday I came and I go, I got to register for postseason tickets. Today, I'm scared.
You have the Giants. This
Maybe
weekend.
you should discuss it with your family
Wait a minute.
first.
Let me see. Hold on here. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Will Blake Snell pitch on Sunday?
I have no idea.
He was filthy last
He's
night.
back.
Everybody's filthy.
I don't
against
think
them.
it'll take that long for him to get picked up in free agency this year.
Only took 5/6 of a season for him to get back.
I'm not sure what's going to happen, but I am worried.
Now, you have a tradition. You will be there Sunday, right? Don't you usually go to
The final
last
game of the regular season I usually go to, but I believe, things in my life
has changed a little bit.
Yeah, things in my life have changed a hair.
Kind of sounds like an excuse, but I understand.
Although I'd love to take my child to her first baseball game.
Mm-hmm.
The good thing at that age, she'd probably just sleep most of the time. No,
unless it's like yesterday. then it is not right.
Had a tough one.
Karen writes in a quote from Gary Sharp.
Hi, Karen.
The Talk to a podcast is actually pretty good. Gary Sharp.
That's a quote. That's a thing you said.
And that is real.
I was engaged.
It's pretty good.
Now,
were you watching it or listening to it?
I was on my phone. I was staring at it.
Okay, so you could see her.
Yes.
Okay.
Interesting.
That changes things.
How's the pod studio? Pretty good setup.
They got a good setup.
She's got a good setup.
Okay. You got like a man cave. You know?
I just think she's a very innocent girl.
A cave.
Is there some
means
brick?
well. It's going to fade away, but it's not like she's going for the attention.
Yeah, get your money. Get your money.
She is big into pet rescue.
Get your money, but don't expect anybody to care about what you say. You know, there's
she's
a difference.
not changing the world.
Is she going to endorse a political
She
candidate?
is.
Oh, yeah.
That's where this is leading.
Yeah. Who is Hawk Tua endorsing? Yeah.
She seems like a Trump.
That's on the next episode, though.
Yes. You got to plan out like,
it'll be called the endorsement.
Just for your mentions, can you make that a poll question?
Does Hawk to a girl endorse Trump?
Spicy.
I dare you.
Now, I believe Tennessee is very Republican.
I've heard that. Yes.
Al Gore
Yes.
is from Tennessee.
Yes, I've heard.
But
that.
I think
He made the internet.
he did. Climate change too.
Mhm.
They kind of go hand in hand.
Nice job, Al.
Very much so.
Inconvenient truth.
He created the internet so he'd stay inside and not go outside and burn the ozone.
Exactly.
And look what happened. Hawk Tua became a thing because of it.
We all got to do our part.
Seem to be very triggered by a 24-year-old girl from small town Tennessee.
Just trying to get
that.
hers.
No,
That-
I love great American success stories.
One of the things on a recent podcast was she was worried because when Pookie comes home from work, she doesn't know how to make food, and so they have to go out. And she would like to make him a meal so when he comes home, but she's not sure if it would be okay.
You know how she can
doesn't
learn
know
how to do that?
make food.
There's also internet for that too.
Yeah.
But not. She doesn't use the word cook. She says make food.
Make
food.
food.
How to
Well,
make
the food's
food.
already made.
Yeah, I mean,
you just have to put it together.
Yeah, you just combine stuff.
I'll send you guys the links.
There
I
might
think
be a
you
heating
can-
concept.
I think while
involved,
you're
too.
driving home today, you can bring it up and listen to it.
Hurt Husker fan writes in, we'll let us go on this. As a Giants fan, I want whoever is dating Daniel Jones to convince him to retire and live a happy life with them ASAP.
That sounds like a good Giants fan right there.
What would if Dave Tepper was the owner of the Giants? How would he handle Daniel Jones?
Probably sign him to a 10-year extension.
Yeah, it'd be like, let's do this thing.
Yeah, it's like
I like you, you like me. I like what's going on here.
I like that Mahomes deal that they gave him. 10 years. Let's go. Let's do it. Make him a billionaire.
You feeling this?
Yeah.
You feeling this? Me and you? Let's do this a long time. All right. Sounds good. Keep growing that beard out too. It's nice. All right. You guys have a good afternoon.
I might go listen to Talk to Her.
Just give it a little bit of a.
I got a mow today.
Listen to 1620 The Zone.
Well, I'd like to, but maybe during a commercial break, I'll catch a little Talk to Her.
Okay.
You might learn something.
You might learn something.
I'm not going in it with those expectations. No, I got low standards on that one.
All right, that's Crossover, powered by Everlevel Concrete Repair in Omaha at everlevelconcrete.com. We'll start things off next.
It's the Connor Happer Show. Are we sure we want to do this?
Could you, make an announcement that we're ready?
It's the Connor Happer Show on 1620, The Zone.
Betting nugget.
Whoa, we got a nugget, people.
Alert. Betting nugget. When both teams are ranked, but the home team is a single-digit favorite or underdog.
What?
That's right.
When the spread
is single digit and both teams are ranked, the home team is 54-15 straight up and 47-19-3 against the spread since 2017. That would be a match, a DNA match to Nebraska and Illinois on Friday night.
Okay, sure.
Right? Nebraska, Illinois, both ranked. Nebraska is either a favorite or an underdog by a single digit number.
That is okay. I follow so far.
54-15. Straight up is the home team. You're starting to hear this more and more, Josh. You're starting to hear that comes from Vegas Insider, by the way. You're starting to hear this that Nebraska might win by multiple touchdowns on Friday night.
Hello.
You're starting to hear a little bit more of that.
I like when people say it. It feels good. It sounds good.
I'll tell you.
It excites me.
I'll tell you over and over again. I want to dive into your guys' heads a little bit on today's show. I feel like I've felt a little hesitation. I feel like your chests aren't popped out as much as they should be this week. Come on, puff them out.
Team's good, y'all.
Team's good. They're 3-0. They made it through the first stage of the season undefeated. They're ranked. They got a reasonable slate coming up. But people are like, oh no, I just have been tricked by this so many times. I just got to see. You've already seen it. You're just not believing it. Why aren't you believing it? We'll ask during the show today. Robin Washut and Mitch Sherman will join on today's program. That will be post 1 o'clock Central Time. So after 1 o'clock. Those two are in the lineup, powered by the referees at John Higgins Weather Guard. We have the tweet bag coming up today at noon, so get your questions in there. At Happer Show, at Connor Happer on the JTech Construction Zone Twitter feed. You can email Connor and Josh Show at 1620thezone.com in the Equitable Bank Zone inbox. You can call or text 402-951-1620 on the 42 Degrees of Source hotline. You could even leave a comment on the YouTube 1620 The Zone TV on YouTube or zonetv.live. Andy has a meme for you, Josh.
Oh.
Andy says, Josh, make a meme replacing Michael Scott's face with Kate Adams' face, declaring when she declares that Daniel Jones is her boyfriend. I declare Daniel Jones. And it's Kate Adams.
Okay, stretch this out for 15 more seconds.
Oh, are you close?
Yes.
Are you close?
Yeah. It's not my best work, but it is what was requested.
Are you going to put it up on the stream for the people to see? Because this is quick work. Andy, you ask, and we shall receive. Now, I don't know if
there it is.
Pretty good, Josh. Pretty good, Josh. Put it out there. New meme alert. I declare Daniel Jones. There's Kay Adams.
Should we tag her? Tag the show? No.
That's kind of funny. Yeah, it's kind of funny. Whatever you want to do with that. There you go, Andy. Ask and ye shall receive. Our dear friend Josh is all over this, just like Kay Adams is on Daniel Jones. Todd writes in on Twitter.
Todd.
I've been too abused by the Huskers to buy into that fact. You've been too abused that I give you a fact and you say no thank you. This fact cannot be factual. I don't buy it. 54-15, Josh. That's pretty good. And yet you say, it's been a long 10 years or a long 20 years. I just can't do it. I just can't. Untether yourselves, guys. Once again, from the text line.
I love the way you live. I wish.
It's time to dive in head first.
Yeah.
Am I worried? Of course I'm worried. I'm worried about everything all the time.
Connor?
It does. You break your neck. You break your neck, but only symbolically. You don't actually break your neck. That's the beauty of sports. You're not physically hurt by these things. You just wake up the next day and you try again. That's what we've been doing for the last 10 years, and we're all still here.
I am still here.
Text from the 402.
Hi, 402.
Let's knock out that Caitlin Clark discussion before we get into Husker football.
Got a lot of time before 1 o'clock, Connor.
We get the tweet bag. Jesse writes in, are we still in the first chunk? We are. This is the final game of chunk 1.
Could we see a perfect chunk?
Could we see the first ever perfect chunk in Chunky's history?
Never been done.
Never. It has not.
They said it couldn't be done.
How about that? It could happen. We'll know on Friday night. Welcome to a Wednesday show. Connor Happer, Josh Hodson with you. Once again, get your questions in for the tweet bag. We will have a 4-pack of Storm Chasers tickets for game 1 of the playoffs coming up in less than a week.
Chasers set a franchise record for wins last night. Congratulations to the Omaha Storm
Chasers. Let's go Chasers. We need a big crowd on Tuesday. Get them rocking, get them rolling. We can offer you tickets. We'll do that a little bit later on in the show. And who knows? If you are a willing participant in the tweet bag, then you might have some of those thrown your way as well. Like I said, who knows? All right. A topic that I had written down for yesterday. Are you cool with Matt Rhule's NFL style? Are you cool? Are you chill, bro, with the NFL style? I'll explain as we go on throughout the show today. Matt Rhule talks about Dylan Raiola on Rich Eisen's show yesterday.
That's an NFL-centric show, Connor.
Remember, Josh, when Matt Rhule would talk about Dylan Raiola all summer, and he would say, yeah, well, I think we have 3 quarterbacks that can win us football games.
I do remember that.
And he would say, yeah, well, he just works real hard, and that's what I really like about Dylan. That's good.
I do remember this.
Well, we're now 3 games into the season, and now America has seen that he's pretty good. And so there's no hiding it anymore. And Matt Rhule went on Rich Eisen's show yesterday and said something very, very different than those 2 things that I just said.
Oh, no.
He said something very different. Not that he's not working hard, not that he's not, there's not 3 quarterbacks that they think they can win with.
Okay.
But something quite complimentary of young Dylon. We'll get to that. Woj bombed himself. He's off to St. Bonaventure. He's putting away the 3rd cell phone and is now going to be the general manager of the St. Bonaventure basketball program. Congrats to Woj.
Yeah. So it's weird on the face, right? But God, what a less stressful life.
No doubt.
No longer has to fight with Shams for stories and who can get it first.
Well, there is he did a statement today on Twitter.
Should have screenshotted the Notes app.
He should have, but he didn't. He did it in a graphic, like a real graphic way.
I make graphics.
I grew up the son of a factory worker 2 miles from ESPN's campus and only ever dreamed of making a living as a sports writer. 37 years ago, the Hartford Courant gave me my first byline, and I never stopped chasing the thrill of it all. This guy's a weirdo. This craft transformed my life, but I've decided to retire from ESPN in the news industry. I understand the commitment required in my role. It's an investment that I'm no longer driven to make. He got sick of it. Time isn't in endless supply, and I want to spend mine in ways that are more personally meaningful. I leave with overwhelming gratitude for countless mentors and colleagues, subjects and stories, readers and viewers. No one has benefited more than me from the belief, trust, and generosity of others. The past 7 years at ESPN have been a particular privilege. I'm appreciative of the company's leadership, especially Jimmy Patero, Christina Douglas, for understanding the acceptance of my decision to make a life change. After all these years of reporting on everyone's teams, I'm headed back to my own. And then just moments later, it was reported that he was going to St. Bonaventure to be their general manager.
By Adam Schefter.
by Passan, I think. I saw it first from Passan.
Okay.
ESPN reporting on ESPN.
Mm-hmm.
Here,
wonder how they got that scoop.
Woj said, "Here you go. You can take this scoop and just go with it if you'd like to." So there's Woj. And hilariously, another L for Florida State. All of these things.
Guys can't buy a win.
It's pretty funny. We'll explain as we go on throughout the show. Don't forget, get your questions in for the tweet bag coming up. Our guest coming up in the 1 o'clock hour. Plenty to come on the Connor Happer Show on a Wednesday on 1620 The Zone.
Set to take on Illinois.
let's get back to the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
I'm working on memes. Because we're all meme makers now. We are makers of memes.
Radio shows are judged on their, I guess the word would be virility.
Virility.
Ability to go viral.
That is true. The question is...
It's all they care about now.
It is true. So let me find a way to get this meme that I've created.
Connor, I'm already done with it.
You are?
Yeah.
Where? Put it up.
We got to download it.
Well, you said you're already done with it. It's not true.
It's made.
It's made. Mine is made too. I'm just trying to find a way to get it on the page, just like you are.
All right, I did 2 during that break.
Okay, go. Put one up.
Okay.
Put one up.
Here we go. We had a request again in the comments section.
Yes.
Where'd it go? Alex, if we're still on the Office meme train, can we get an FSU logo over Kevin's face saying "I suck"?
Yeah,
we sure can.
That's pretty good. Really low quality.
Very low quality.
Really low quality.
It also inspired me to do a spin-off of that from the movie Tommy Boy.
Okay.
Let me tell you why I suck.
Well, what if this is better than all of them?
Do it.
I couldn't get the Seminole guy on there.
The head, yeah.
Because for some reason, I guess you download transparent images and it keeps that stupid check background on there sometimes.
Oh, yeah. Sometimes they tell you it's transparent and it's actually not.
So you make the ideas for a meme and we make the meme. I suck.
We're just a meme factor.
That was after Kevin lost to, I think, Phyllis on casino night.
That's right.
He's talking about how good he is at poker. I played in the blah, blah, blah. I got this poker, wristband watch, whatever they get for winning World Series of Pokers or being in them. And he's like, yeah, I'm pretty good at this. So I guess you could say I'm pretty good at this. And then he loses to Phyllis. He's like, oh, I like the red ones. All right. Matt Rhule yesterday, he went. Now we're going to hear we heard from Matt Rhule on Monday. We're going to hear from Matt Rhule today. Matt Rhule loves saying words.
He's always talking.
And in the in-between, he went on the TV. That is with Rich Eisen on Rich Eisen's show.
Got to go on radio, Matt.
This is on the radio, but it's also on the TV.
Well,
is it on? How?
Yes.
Okay, well, I don't know what channel he's on.
I don't think we carry it. I think.
What channel is he on for the TV?
I think I'd like to. I think he's on Peacock.
Oh, he's on Peacock. Okay. Well, Matt Rhule was on Peacock yesterday with Rich Eisen. And Rich Eisen had a lot of questions. About, I think the first probably 5 or 6 questions right out of the gate were about Dylon.
Any NFL questions? Any Panthers questions?
No, they didn't quite get there.
Okay.
They didn't quite get there. They used some of his experiences in the NFL, but nothing like, hey, the Panthers are bad. What do you think about that? He wouldn't have
Not so stupid now, am I?
Here is a snippet from Matt Rhule's appearance on the Rich Eisen show yesterday. Listen carefully.
Set to take on Illinois. This man is 3-0 for the Nebraska Cornhuskers in the Big Ten. Matt Rhule, good to see you again, Coach. How are you?
Okay, it's the whole interview, not the clip.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
We could just play the whole interview.
No, we can't. Hold on. Give me a second.
Take a couple segments off.
Gotta go back to our. See, this is what you get for when people start asking you to make memes instead of doing your job.
Out loud.
All right, so get that one out of here. All right, ready, Josh?
Oh yeah,
We're going back. Question about Dylan Raiola. Listen carefully.
To say Mahomes out loud for a kid this. Say Mahomes out loud for a kid this age.
I'm not sure what the problem is over here. Travis writes in, he says, this is what happens when we let Connor run the show. So all of a sudden today, Connor's running the show.
Haley Welch doesn't have these problems.
Not on her very highly produced podcast. Notice how I said produced. Why doesn't this work? I'm confused, Josh. Try one more time.
A Mahomes out loud for a kid this age, and obviously where he is in your program is one thing, but if you say he's egoless, no big deal, right? I mean, for you to throw that out there, would you say that, Coach?
Yeah, no doubt. I think I'm at a point in my life. I've got a son in college. I don't think there's anything wrong with all of our players with having high expectations and speaking like belief into them. Like I believe that Dylan has a chance to be one of the best players on the planet at some point. And so, I think that the key is whether it's him, whether it's his family, whether it's our players, whether it's me, we all just have to make sure that he continues to work at it, and all of our players continue to work at it. But I'm not one of those guys who's going to beat people down to get them to be good. I'm going to tell them what I expect of them, tell them what I see in them, and I see greatness ahead for him. And so the key now is just every day, are you being great? And he shows up every day with that kind of mindset.
Anything jump out to you, Josh?
Well, there was a little stretch in there where he said that Dylon could be one of the best players on the planet.
That was the one. Yes. Yeah. That's why we played it on this show.
And I look, don't get me wrong. In the off season, did I think that was a possibility in 1 year, 2 year, 3 years, whatever? Well, yes, I did allow myself to go there.
What about 3 games?
It seems soon.
So he said, he was asked, just to give you hopefully the appropriate context, he was asked before a couple times about Dylan Raiola, and one of the things that Rhule said was that, his humility and his egoless and stuff like this, like that's what really sets him apart. He just came in and he started working. That's all stuff that we've heard before. And so Eisen was like, okay, well, he's got these Mahomes comparisons, and you think he's pretty good and he's egoless. Like, can you say that to him and it doesn't get crazy? And he's like, Rhule, you just heard him say it. Rhule said, I like telling people what I think of them. I like telling people what they might end up being one day if you work hard, if you do this and this and this. And I think what he's saying is more along the lines, instead of it seeming outlandish to say I think he's going to be one of the best players on the planet one day, which that just grabs you. I think what he's saying is, well, there is no ceiling on him. There is no ceiling whatsoever. And I think you would have said the same. Now we didn't know that Mahomes was going to become Mahomes. But there's only a few select players out there, and they play the quarterback position, and they get the most money, and they get the most accolades and stuff like that. There's only a few guys out there. Even in NFL draft circles, where you're like, oh, this guy's got it all. He's got all of the things. He can make all the throws. He's got the arm talent. He's got the leadership. He's got the ability to read defenses. He can make checks. He is a complete quarterback. And so they think that Dylan Raiola possesses those abilities or has the potential to possess those abilities. And then when he goes into an NFL locker room, he can end up being one of those guys in the sport. Now, I think one of the things that he said about him this year, going back to post Colorado a couple weeks ago, was, well, Dylan's ahead. People need to I'm paraphrasing. Dylan's ahead. People need to catch up here. Right. And so they think he's approaching that level right now, which is very interesting. And it's certainly it's quite the departure from what we heard over the summer when it was like, oh yeah, I think we got 3 quarterbacks who are pretty good. Watch out for that Heinrich guy now. Not what you're hearing anymore. It's because everybody could see it.
Cat's out of the bag.
Cat's out of the bag. Everybody could see it. And, we talked about this emerging, the potential emerging narrative this offseason of hey, if Nebraska's back and Nebraska's ranked and all this stuff, then it's going to be about Dylan Raiola. It has become about that. The narrative, the potential narrative that I was a little worried about has happened. And there's nothing that any of us can do about it.
Worried? Why worried?
Because the next step, if you extrapolate that, is like, I just don't want it to get to the point where you're putting too much on his shoulders. I think they have to do as much as they possibly can to keep this thing rooted and grounded in, we are the offense that we are, and you are the facilitator of this offense, and we want to run the ball. And yes, we want to have really, really great players to plug in those positions, but we don't need you to be making these out of control plays all the time. We just need you to do your thing as of right now, because Nebraska's got in big, big, big trouble trying to do too much with their quarterbacks over the last several years. Big trouble. And they have failed. Big trouble, Josh. And they have failed to put the appropriate means around those players to allow those players to have success. And then the whole thing just kind of implodes. It falls in on itself. And so that's the idea here, right? You want the opposite of that to happen. And to be fair, I think Nebraska's on the right track in that regard. But I do think you need to keep, like, when people think of Nebraska football right now, and maybe it's a good thing. Like, maybe I should just be viewing this from the standpoint of, hey, look, people know about Nebraska football now. Nebraska football is relevant, and I don't care why. It's this kid, and what a great representative to have, and this and that. Like, that's great. It is great that people are talking about Nebraska again. And I think it is important for Rhule to say these things out loud about his quarterback, because I also think he's recruiting. By the way, I also think, you look around the country and you're like, hey, for all those playmakers out there, we're going to have this guy for another couple of years. Don't you want to play with him?
Wouldn't you like him throwing you balls?
Or for next quarterback in 2 years, whatever, don't you want to be the next him? Don't you want to take over for something that he left or something like that? But yeah, it's quite the departure from what we heard over the summer for Coach Rhule.
In the offseason, when I dreamed of the possibilities of this, like I don't even know what it would look like if Nebraska had, let's just go there, the best quarterback in the country.
Sure.
Like, I don't even know what it would like.
I don't think
I didn't know what to do even in my dream of, like, what could this be? What could this look like in 2 or 3 years?
You know what? It's a great point, Josh. Yeah, because they might. I was looking at. We can maybe even talk about this later. The Athletic put out a Big Ten quarterback tiers thing, and he was right at the top of the second tier, like not quite in the stardom tier yet. But that's only because we haven't seen enough of him yet. Like, he's going to that tier eventually.
It's so new.
We were almost. I don't know why I can't remember what happened. Oh yeah, we got finally out to the Rhule press conference on Monday, but we were going down this road of, like, who would you rather? Would you trade anyone? Would you trade anyone for him right now? Would you trade anyone, period, for him right now?
For Dylan?
Yes, in college football. Would you trade any one person for him?
No, I don't think I would.
I don't think so either.
Yeah. Quarterback class ain't that great this year. Maybe last year you would have traded for 3 or 4 different guys.
This is, even if you take out the eligibility thing, like, it's great for Nebraska that they have 2 more years of him. But even if it's just right now, like, who do you trust more to go out and do the things that they're going to ask him to do? I think Nebraska's really comfortable with what they have at the moment. And so, yes, they need to promote that idea as well. Cody writes in.
Hi, Cody.
Could we be looking at the next coming of Leaf and Manning with Nico Amaleva and
Tennessee's quarterback?
Raiola.
You can just say Tennessee's quarterback.
I knew it at one point last year, and now I've lost it. Could we? I have no idea. Who's who in that scenario?
Oh man.
You just don't know. Like, you just don't know if guys are going to be. So, Iamaleava. by the way. Josh, you got it? Iamaleava.
Iamaleava. Yeah.
Iamaleava. Iamaleava.
Iamaleava.
That's it. You got it. The other one's easy to say. It's Raiola.
Raiola.
Not Raiola.
Like a rye whiskey.
Aaron writes in.
Hi, Aaron.
He says it's weird. Because it's new, but you could just see it. He feels like he has all of it. Like, I'm confident in him after 3 games, and it's just not our eyes. It's really good guys like Brock Heward who could see it. So weird, but so exciting. Yeah. Yeah. So people are a little hesitant always to say like this and this and this, and he's going to be this and this and this. But like, you should be comfortable in that in the future here.
We've seen it at the running back position. We've seen it on the D line, the linebacker, but the best quarterback in the country at Nebraska is different.
Yep. Adam writes in.
Hi, Adam.
This is good. He says the magnitude of Raiola as Nebraska's quarterback and his potential didn't really hit me until I watched Bussin' with the Boys last night. Interesting start to this email. They recapped their day at the Texas, Michigan, and Colorado, Nebraska game. They went to both games in the same day. At the Texas, Michigan game, they were with Herb Street Leinert, Brady Quinn, Urban Meyer, and the rest of the Big Noon crew calling that game that they were at. And on the sideline of that game, the biggest game of the week in college football, with the biggest names in the sports all next to them, they were all talking about Raiola.
Wow. Hey.
Now, they probably are like, hey, Will's here. Let's talk about Nebraska. But that's not just like, hey, let's throw a bone to Will anymore.
Right.
Last year it was like, hey, how your boy's going to be okay? Yeah. And I've talked about this before. There is this thing from the national media. They really, what was the clip that I was watching before we came in the studio today, Josh? Who was that? Oh, it was
Tua.
No, it was if she talked about Dylan Raiola, we'd play it. We'd play it on this show for sure.
Got to get her on that pod.
It was Josh Pate and Greg McElroy.
Oh, yes.
And they were like Greg McElroy was like, I don't even care. I'm going to say this out loud, but I want Nebraska to be good. Like he said, we should honestly grab the clip. Now we're bad at grabbing clips now, but like he was like, I'm just going to put this down. I want this to happen. And I think there's a sense of that. It is so odd. Nebraska is with their quarterback. They are a national darling right now. Ooh. They are a national college football darling.
A darling.
They are like the Northwestern basketball team the year they went to the NCAA tournament. But not in the same way of like, this is a cool story. Like, this is nice. It's in the sense of, oh boy, my childhood might be coming back. It might be the 90s again. It is weird. It is a weird thing to think about. Nebraska has one of the best players in the country at the premium position in the sport. Nebraska's had great players that they've had to attempt to highlight, and it's like, oh, hey, vote for Amir Abdullah to win the Heisman. He's one of the best running backs in the country. He was. But you have to you have to really manufacture ways to get his name out there. And obviously his play does a lot of the talking. And if you're really watching, then you know. But you don't have to really be watching Nebraska to know. Dylan Raiola is their quarterback, and he's checking all the boxes, and he's really, really good. So, yeah. It's going well through the first 3 weeks here. From the 402.
Hi, 402.
What if Caitlin Clark talked about Dylan? Would you put that on the show?
If we had time for it.
If we had time for it. Yes. Aaron says it's like Northwestern basketball without all the annoying Northwestern grads cheering for them in the media.
Look, everybody, it's Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
Kind of like
Mike
that.
Greenberg.
Oh. All right. We will come back. Interesting comments.
Would Wilbon talk about it?
Will Wilbon talk about it? Will Desmond Howard admit it? Maybe that's the next thing we need to do. Whoever's holding out on Nebraska being good, we need to go attack them.
We need to find them. Mm-hmm. I like that.
Find them and ask them why. All right, we'll return. Don't forget the tweet bag's coming up at noon. I want to hear from you guys. 402-951-1620. We'll be back after this. I got a question for you. First of all, how you doing?
Huh?
Doing all right?
Yeah, I think so. Am I about to not be?
No, I just got a question for you.
Oh, okay.
That's all.
Yeah.
So we'll have to agree on something first. Is Matt Rhule approaching this program as if it is an NFL style? He's building it with an NFL style in mind. You mentioned something like this the other night after the Northern Iowa game. It's like, basically, I don't get what you guys want from me. We're winning the game, right? I want to go back to some of the frustration from Saturday night a little bit. I think most of what we got back yesterday sort of followed this line, so I wanted to, throughout this week. Like, right there, do we agree that there was some frustration from Nebraska fans after Saturday night?
Generally, yes.
There was some. Obviously, there's still like the air of everything's going to be okay.
Not a big deal.
Not a huge deal. But there was some frustration. Maybe we need to be we need to be dominant. Mm-hmm. I wanted to ask you guys about why. Why? And my answer, if I had to guess, it's baked in here somewhere. It's not really, they're not really building this thing in the sense of how we are used to seeing college football programs being built. College football has always been a game about style points. It's history with the rankings. It's history with now the playoff. The thought has been that could be the difference in a ranking at the end, right? You win a game, like Curt Cignetti, right? Curt Cignetti is a classic college football guy. They won 77-3. They didn't have to win 77-3, but they did. They weren't like working on stuff. It was like, we want to score, and we want to score a whole bunch of points and want to get out of here. It's not just in the way they win, though. College football has also had some of the best innovators in sports. These fun, rule-bending offenses, pushing the boundaries of recruiting rules, pushing the boundaries of norms that you see just in football. It just looks, the NFL has always been known as a league that is a little, while it's a little bland, I don't know if that's the right word for it. It's certainly more bland than college football is.
Yes.
In terms of the football, right? Some of the greatest coaches of all time in college football were special because of those reasons. And now the current modern day version of it is like, we have these sickos, right? These weird things happen in college football. These very odd things happen in college football that just don't happen in the NFL. Partly because the NFL isn't quite as big as college football is, but then there's the quality and there's the talent and stuff like that. But even those programs in college have to find a way to be successful, knowing that they're never going to have as much talent, or they're going to be as equal to the talent as the NFL teams are afforded the opportunity to be. This is not the way Nebraska is building their program. Nebraska is building it more in the NFL style. They want to be special in their consistency. They will take the things that make their program special and they will accentuate those, and they will pour them into their players. Matt Rhule is building an NFL style program. It's NFL in the way that their offense is. It's NFL in the way that their defense is. It's NFL in the way that their player development is. It's NFL in the sense that Matt Rhule is less a head coach and more a general manager.
So is Woj.
He not college basketball.
Oh.
Matt Rhule coaches his coaches, and then he gives those guys the responsibility, and he trusts them to do their jobs, even if they're really young. But everything that happens in the Nebraska program ultimately goes back to him, so it's under his watch. I think in the first year, one of the topics that came up on our show a lot was that he's kind of a micromanager, right? He has a very specific way he wants things. I think that is less the case now. Going to some practices this year in the preseason, how he would kind of walk around and just, observe.
Now there's trust. Now everybody knows.
Everybody knows what the standard is.
Yep.
Right.
Uh-huh.
And so he's turned himself more into a general manager this season, and a face for the program, a person who answers all of the questions, all of the big questions that need to be answered. I think he likes coaching football, but I think he's really found his niche in the big questions that get asked all the time. And so, are you okay with this, I guess, is my question. Or do you care anymore? Have we lost the, it has to be a certain way? Because it is like, when he talks about, we're going to be good at defense, we're going to be fine at offense. That's the general sense of what we're going to be at Nebraska as long as I'm here, as long as Matt Rhule is here. Doesn't that take a little bit of the colleginess out of it? Right? It does. I mean,
it definitely does.
Iowa's got a little bit of that going right now. And Iowa has been doing it for a long time, and they've won a lot of games, but their fans are not always happy with it.
The sport as a whole has had a lot of the college-y taken out of it.
Just in the sense of how they pay their players, or
paying players. It's a lot less folksy.
I think so too.
And
to be clear, I do think Rhule is going along with the trend here. I do think Rhule is going along with the trend here, but it's not there. It's not college football in the sense of here's a bunch of style points and we're going to win with these fast and crazy offenses that we can use in college because the rules are a little bit different. Like they want to play football the right way, quote unquote, the right way in terms of how they believe football should be played, like to its core. So when they talk about, Dylan Raiola, it's not, hey, we're going to manufacture these ways where he can get a whole bunch of completions and make his stats look good. And then people will want to play with him because he would have won the Heisman and this and this and this and this. Like, no, they want him to play quarterback and they want him to be better prepared for the NFL. And they want all their players to be better prepared for the NFL. That's what lies at the core of this entire thing.
Get up, stay up, suffocate them.
Because that's what they experience in the NFL. In the day-to-day, that's what they experience in the NFL. You hear him say it all the time. We think you can come here and, if we think you're good enough to play here, then I probably think you're good enough to be able to play in the NFL one day. And we're going to take you through an experience that mimics that. We're going to make you do the things. Like we're going to treat you like an adult.
You want to go to the league?
It's not necessarily and I do think that is a difference from how he built it at Baylor too, and how he built it at Temple too.
Yeah, I would say so.
I think his experience people ask him all the time, like, how'd your experience in the NFL change you and whatever it might be. Like, I think, he's come back from that and has now said, look, this is what kids want to do. And we're going to treat them that way, and we're going to build it that way. Now they're fortunate to get it started this way because they have a quarterback who he is at this moment, and that obviously helps you out in your process. But it's not like Nebraska was so weird. In like Nebraska is forever etched in the history of college football. Yes, because they won 5 national championships, but also because of their innovation. Right, they were first to the table in terms of weight training. The innovative kind of pre-spread triple option like offense. That is etched in the history of the sport. Nebraska's not going to do anything real innovative here. They're not. They're not going to be. They're going to try to be the best they possibly can at doing things that are already happening in the NFL. And it's some of the best college programs across the country. I find that interesting. Have you set a boundary for yourself? I don't think so. Have you set a ceiling for yourself? I don't think so. You look at what Georgia does, it looks a lot like this.
It's going to play well to a certain segment of recruits too, who just, hey, the NFL, that's all I want. I want a path to the NFL. Well, we can give that to you. We play that style here.
Venmo Chris,
I've been an NFL coach.
Venmo Chris writes in, he says, isn't that what Saban did? Isn't that what Harbaugh did? I just think it's being a good coach. Harbaugh is a good example of that probably. And I bet Saban is probably too, actually, with both of their brief histories in the NFL before they took they took jobs where they won national championships at Alabama and Michigan, of course. Like, I don't think it's just what good coaches do, though. I do think it is unique. Like, I thought we'd always, by the way, I don't think this is a bad thing at all. I just wanted to lay it out here this way. Like, I think Nebraskans have always viewed this thing as like, this is unique and this is different and this is kind of the way we have to do it, and they're not doing it that way.
It's not what Lane Kiffin does. It's not what Josh Heupel does. It's
not even close.
Yeah,
not even close. And those guys can win a lot of games. It's about the college football, right?
Mm-hmm.
Aaron says Georgia does this also. Jason and Pender says, as an Iowa fan, I wouldn't say we're unhappy. I think we just want some growth and to turn those 10-win seasons into something. Sure.
Substance behind it.
Norm says, I feel like this Nebraska team could win a lot of games about 35-17 against bad teams and teams that are pretty good. I think the game and the score will look about the same. Yeah, I'm not just talking about winning close, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm not just talking about winning close. I use that as an example.
Well, no, that's where the origin of the conversation was from the Northern Iowa game, where it was kind of ho hum.
Yeah.
Right.
Joel writes in on the Equitable Bank inbox.
Hi, Joel.
Yes.
Hi, Joel.
He says, hey guys, I am fine with it. In 2010, Nebraska beat Washington 56-21 and K-State 48-13, but only beat SDSU 17-3 in between. In 2012, they beat Idaho State 73-7, and 2 weeks later got beat by Ohio State 63-38. Both teams won 10 games, so how many points you score against FCS isn't a huge indicator of how your season will go. I'm sorry if some people can't handle watching Nebraska not win hard enough, but it's a whole lot better than almost winning and going 3-9. Rhule is coaching to a vision. As long as it's working, I'm not going to move the goalposts.
I think that's about where I'm at. Yep.
But I do think it's a good point mentioning those FCS scores and then how those seasons turned out. I do think they are building a model here that is built to play with the Ohio States of the world. Right? It's harder to win those games when you are reliant on your fun and cool offense. I think I think we're, and to whoever's point earlier who said I think this is just good coaching and I think this is the way everybody's doing it now. I think as we go forward, you're seeing less and less of an emphasis on these cool and innovative offensive coordinators who just bring their fancy offensive tricks to the table. I'm oversimplifying, I know, but and more of the Matt Rhule style, more of the people who are elite in player development and, maybe can get an edge in analytics or training and strength and develop, whatever, all of the other stuff inside of the program rather than the things that you just see on Saturdays. That led to a long stretch of teams who would pull these crazy upsets. But I do think if you're trying to build it really fundamentally, like the way Nebraska seems to be doing it right now, this is probably the way to do it. It's in your players. And then hopefully you can get, a couple guys, a couple real dudes on top of it. And they feel like they have one at the moment. That's for sure.
The more dudes, the better.
Yeah. So, yeah, like you said, Joshua, at the start of this conversation, I was just bringing up the Northern Iowa game. And I do think there was some frustration at the end of last week, but you have to, they are definitely playing to their own standard at this point. And no, there's not going to be these out of control collegey 80-3 scores. Mm-hmm. It's just not that's not how
they're not
going to
South Alabama somebody and drop 87.
Yeah, it's just not how it's going to be.
And that's okay.
They're going to play the game that they're playing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's fine. That's a good thing. And I think it'll serve them well against teams that they are less talented than.
Yes. That's what it's about.
We'll be back after this. A couple things we want to get to. Also, we have your thoughts on the other side on 1620 The Zone.
He has the latest sports news, expert analysis, award-winning commentary, and a pocket full of cabbage.
Can you give us an indication why?
Just in case there's a sauerkraut emergency.
Let's get back to the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
There's the sauerkraut.
You got it? You loaded up?
Yeah.
On the kraut?
Bunch of it in my pockets right now.
I can smell it.
Just in case there's a sauerkraut emergency.
There often is in this building.
Josh, put up the meme.
Oh, which one? We have so many.
This one. Or this one. Or this one.
There's so many.
Yeah, Florida State.
These guys suck.
Yeah, that's the news of the day. All right, we can take them down now. So the headline is this. You tell me what the translation is. Sources. ACC, Clemson, Florida State renew talks on revenue distribution. First thought that came to my head was, you tried and failed. You tried and failed. From ESPN, talks between Clemson, Florida State, and the ACC have ramped up in recent weeks, according to sources, on a proposal that would allot a greater share of revenue to schools based on brand valuation and television ratings, as well as potentially alter the expiration of the league's grant of rights, which currently runs through 2036 in exchange for the Tigers and Seminoles dropping their lawsuits against the conference. So here's what happened. Just reading the tea leaves here.
Dumb it down for me, Connor.
Florida State and Clemson tried and knocked on everybody's door. They were selling that box of candy, and only grandma would buy it. That's what always happened to me. I would knock on some doors. Would you like to buy my candy? No, thank you. But I could always go back to grandma. And they might have they sold a lot of candy to grandma. It looks like in this case.
Sure, grandma funded it for a long time.
Because where this has ended up is not a great place. Once again, Josh, they have rekindled the talks, Florida State, Clemson, and the ACC, on a proposal according to, I saw Ross Dellinger have this first, but a proposal that would allot a greater share of revenue to schools based on brand valuation and television ratings. Josh, that sounds like the big red button. Remember the big red button?
Yes.
I hate the big red button.
Your theory for a while has been that eventually the Ohio States of the world will say, why is Rutgers making the same amount of money as us?
Yes.
We are the Ohio State.
So we do not want this to happen, for the record. No. And also for the record, I don't think it will.
Who would vote for this?
Correct. I was reading some analysis of this, and basically it was, well, they would need a 2/3 vote in order for this, like you'd be changing the literal grant of rights, like the charter of the league, right? Here's how the money distribution works. Oh, and our grant of rights is up a little bit earlier. Like Clemson and Florida State are the only people that want this. The rest of the ACC now hates them. They're like, please stop. All summer long, Florida State complained about not making the college football playoff, complained about being in the ACC, complained about the grant of rights, sued their own conference, and now sucks at football.
0-3.
0-3.
0-2 in conference.
We couldn't say it enough. 0-3 to start the season, and 0-2 in their own garbage league that ask them, not me.
The perfect two coaches that they had in their first two ACC games, who were definitely telling their locker rooms, they think you suck. They think they want to run away from this conference because they think you suck.
And now Florida State is coming back to the table,
hat in hand, and tears in their eyes.
Yes. And they're saying, well, can we just try and make this work? And guess what? The ACC is saying, sure, whatever, but you're never going to get this to pass. If you want us to make you look good or look a little bit better and save face, come back to this league and you're going to be staying, because guess what? That grant of rights ain't changing. and you're staying because nobody else wants you. Do they really think they're going to get bailed out by the Big Ten or by the SEC or by the Big 12? I don't think anybody wants them right now because of how they have positioned themselves in college football. They just complain. They sued their own conference. Josh, would you hire an intern who has spent the last several months talking crap about you on Twitter and then suing you? I wouldn't.
No, I don't think I would.
I don't think I'd hire that person.
I don't think
I think I'd hire any other person besides that as my intern.
The conference is calling their bluff.
They are they're disgruntled.
Mm-hmm.
What do they call those? A
nonplussed?
They're not happy.
Unhappy.
Well, there's a word for it. They're a they're not happy, right?
Nonchalant?
You're not going to find it by Googling it, Josh. It's just like they're a
non-starter.
No.
I'm looking at unhappy synonyms.
Yeah, I'm not going to be happy when I hear when I hear this word.
Non-committal.
Nope. Now I'm angry.
Okay, I'm sorry.
You've angered me, or not you, but I've angered myself.
Don't hire yourself.
Anyway, they are God, not kid. Now I'm trying to think of the word.
Now it's the only thing you can think of.
Yep. So, those people who are they're in like contract negotiations and they're not happy with their contract negotiations and they won't play because they're like holding out of their contract. What do they call those people? What do they call those people?
I don't know.
A texter says disgruntled. It's not disgruntled. I know the word disgruntled. It's non-something. That's the word I'm looking for. Not non sequitur. Not disgruntled worker. All right, we have to move on because I'm now incredibly angry. But that's what Florida State is. That word I can't think of.
Everybody listening to the show right now at like 12,
they're trying
at 12:45.
They're trying.
Hit Connor, and he's just gonna go
non-compliant. No, it's not non-compliant. Now somebody's calling the show.
Oh wow!
It's not any of those. I'm literally sweating, Josh. I can't.
Oh my!
I'm very, very
okay.
angry.
Now I feel bad for you.
Yeah, I have angered myself greatly. But that's what they are. And you wouldn't hire them and nobody else wants them. And now they're trying to go back to their own conference and say, all right, let's change the rules up a little bit. And the ACC will never do this. Because like I said, everybody else saw this play out so publicly and their conference mates, what loyalty do they have to them? Like you just said, Josh, they've spent nothing. They've spent all of their time this entire summer in a very public space telling people how much they don't care about the ACC, and now they're going to come back to the ACC and they need a 2/3 vote to pass, even though it would be good for, say, North Carolina because they'd get a big chunk of a revenue share if they went to a TV revenue split in the conference. North Carolina would actually end up pretty good in that. They're one of the top schools in the conference, and I don't know what their opinion is on Clemson and Florida State, but I would be angry at them. I'd be angry at them. I would not be voting for proposals.
Oh, for sure.
Non-obedient? No. Non-entity? No. Holdout? No.
Malcontent.
Malcontent! Malcontent! They are a malcontent. They are a malcontent.
Two things. Shout out
They're
to El
a
Scorcho.
malcontent. Thank you, El Scorcho.
And second of all, mal and non, not the same thing.
Really?
You said it started with non.
Well, I know, but I was like, that's what I thought. That's where my brain was. Mal and non are literally the same word if you just translate it to a different language.
Feels like a yellow and brown situation.
It's Josh. What is mal in English?
Prefix mal.
Yes.
The prefix mal has multiple meanings, including bad, wrongful, ill, poorly, or wrongly.
Is that not what non is?
I would agree. Okay, you're right.
Malcontent.
Mm-hmm.
Non-content, malcontent, whatever. Jeffy Smack writes in.
Hi, Jeffy Smack.
Well, great. I'm in the parking lot at the vet. I had to pick up the dog. I don't want to leave the car because I need to know what the word is. Yes, victory. Now I can go get the dog. Yes, thank you. Don't listen to our show anymore. Just go get the dog. Malcontent. El Scorcho. You win a prize. Congratulations. You want to go to the Storm Chasers game next week?
You win a prize.
Alex Lincoln says, use it in a sentence. Texture says non grata. Yes, they're persona non grata. They are a malcontent in their own conference. Nobody wants them. Nobody cares about them. Teresa asks 29:30. Alex is confused. So are apples non-vegetables?
Schwartzwielder says stretch.
We got there.
I don't know.
You think that was a stretch?
I wouldn't say it was a stretch.
You don't like.
I think you're
by
right.
me not being able to think of a word and saying that I thought that it started with non and it ended up starting with mal. That's a stretch. I don't think so. It means if I were to say nobody says non-content, right? Nobody says non-content. But if you were to say non-content versus malcontent, is that the same thing? Yes, it is.
Yeah.
They're a malcontent. Charles says yellow is brown. Well, that's of course true. And 29 is 30, and mal is non. These are all hard truths that we have to just accept.
That's what we do here. We tell hard truths.
Yep. Don't forget the tweet bag is coming up. Speaking of things that you could ask me, you could ask many things, and we can get you into a Storm Chasers playoff game next week. Please ask a question.
That's right. Good questions. You might get to go to Warner Park on Tuesday.
Josh will have the oddities when we return on 1620 The Zone.
And now we've reached the point in the show where Josh Odson reads the peculiar, the bizarre, the comical, the odd news with Odd Son. Odd news, Odd Son. See what we did there? The odd news with Oddson.
For the 402, used in a sentence, some of your listeners are malcontents because you won't talk about Caitlin Clark.
I think that's the perfect use of that, actually.
It's pretty good.
Good work by you.
Get your questions in for the tweet bag coming up here in just a couple minutes. I have an odd news for you, Josh.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I have just found out about a new meme. I like to keep up with the memes.
Oh, sure. We love a good meme.
I usually know what's going on.
We're hip with the kids.
When I saw the Big Ten Network just moments ago tweet out a picture with Dylan Raiola and then a small hippopotamus, I thought,
oh, yeah, there's a hippo everybody loves.
What is happening here? And so I went to Google, and here's what I have found.
Okay.
Why does the internet love baby hippo Moo Dang? This is an article from the Washington Post. Moo Dang, the baby pygmy hippo, has become the internet's latest obsession. Since she was born in Thailand Cow Open Zoo, Moo Dang, whose name roughly translates to bouncing pig or pork patty, has reached viral stardom. So far, she's been memeified by the Utah Jazz NBA team, turned into an eerily lifelike cake by a Bangkok bakery, and
good band name, Bangkok Bakery,
and inspired a dewy pink makeup look by Sephora Thailand. She also has her very own Wikipedia page. But what seems like unlikely celebrity has a simple, if surprising, explanation. Moo Dang and other baby animals spark adoring reactions worldwide because their cuteness hijacks our brains, studies show. The animal's human, baby-like features strike at people's ingrained nurturing instincts, something scientists think is an evolutionary trait that has allowed the human species to survive across millennia. So why do we think this baby hippo is cute? The answer is very simple. Because it is a baby hippo.
Yeah.
That's it. It's a hippo, but it's a baby version of a hippo. I didn't know about this meme until just now. And I'm disappointed, actually, to learn the reasoning of why it's become a thing. It doesn't seem that fun or interesting.
Oh, it's just
a baby hippo.
Just cute.
Yeah. Okay. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
There's my piece of the odd news. Josh, what do you have?
I have news stories from the world of baseball.
Oh.
We begin with Jose Altuve's foot.
Yeah, I saw this last night. What happened? How did we get to this point?
Jose Altuve grounded out against the Padres to end the 9th inning on Tuesday. But the Astros second baseman alleged he hit the ball off his foot for a foul ball. That happens a lot, right? A lot of discussions with umpires like, hey, no, you're mistaken, sir. It hit me. And then Altuve took off his cleat on his left foot and his sock to show the umpire where he got hit.
That's awesome.
And
good move.
That warranted an ejection.
Oh, what?
You're going to show up blue in the 9th inning and remove
no, that's
your
not
clothing.
Showing him up. You're just proving it. It's like when they, when they're in the batter's box and they draw a line on the outside of the plate where they think that the ball crossed over. That's not showing up the umpire. That's just being polite. That's saying, here, look, this is where this ball crossed.
This is where it got me.
This is why, it's sneaky. Maybe, Nick Batters is in the other studio right now. We can have him come in and talk about this. This is why the challenge system kind of rules. Because specifically on a play like Altuve is having, like Altuve has, that doesn't matter because he thought it went off his foot, and that's not really reviewable, especially with the challenge system. But when guys think the ball is outside and they have to walk back to the dugout, and because they have struck out, or at least the umpire said so, if they really think it's outside, they can challenge the pitch. And guess what? A lot of times they're wrong. And
Sad.
then they have to just bear the embarrassment of being wrong about something you were incredulous about. It's
Like Mal and Non are the same thing.
It's very fun. And sometimes it could get pretty embarrassing for the umpires too, if they're wrong enough. If they're wrong enough times in a row.
Just eating,
folks, we love the challenge system.
We do. We also love Batman and Batman IP.
Untether yourself.
Later this week, Max will premiere the Batman spin-off television show, The Penguin, starring Colin Farrell.
That's right.
He is, doing a lot of media promoting the project, and I don't know how him and the interviewer got here, but they talked about the makeup process, because if you look at Colin Farrell in The Penguin, he's fairly unrecognizable in the role.
Yep.
He talked about that's a full body thing, including the genitals.
What do you mean?
There was a penguin pecker on his costume. His words, not mine. He revealed that it was an anatomically correct body under the suits he was wearing. The Academy Award nominated.
What do you mean anatomically correct? So
the costume.
No, I get it. I get it. I get what that means.
Okay.
But that would mean that somewhere along the way, someone knew what Penguin's junk looked like.
That's right.
How did this come to be?
I don't know. And who said, you know what we need? You know what this project needs to have? A penguin pecker inside the suit. Are we going to show it on camera? No, we're not. But we do want Colin Farrell to know it's there.
It's nice. It's nice to have the details lined up. But if you're saying it's anatomically correct, that means it's.
Well, Colin Farrell is saying it's anatomically correct.
That means you're comparing it to something. That means somewhere out there,
right,
we know factually what the penguin's genitals look like.
I don't know if the aquarium at Henry Dorley will see a spike in attendance this weekend. People checking out the penguins.
Well, the penguin's not a penguin.
The penguin's not a penguin.
No, the penguin's not a penguin. The penguin is a man.
There's a hell of a sentence.
Yeah, the penguin's not a It's not a penguin.
You're right.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'd like to check out the penguins because they're cool.
I love penguins.
Yeah.
So does Gary Sharp. We share that.
Yes.
Love.
Yeah.
So I guess look for that when you're watching The Penguin this week.
Yeah. Watch out for that.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
And finally, a little ESPN on ESPN crime for you,
ESPN.
Dominique Foxworth.
I did see this one.
Yes.
This is good.
Could not help himself from referencing the not safe for work Instagram live video that emerged on social media involving ESPN's Shannon Sharpe. The topic du jour was Bryce Young after he was benched earlier this week. If you give it's Shannon, I won't do an impression for you, but Shannon said, quote, "If you give me 3 months, Stephen A, and my hips hold up, I might play 2 or 3 games at tight end for him," Sharp said on First Take. Foxworth very quietly
under his breath.
Yeah, very subtly. So I'm not going to play the video or the audio because it's not great audio, but Foxworth said, "I think your hips are fine."
He snuck it right in there and it was just breezed by.
It was a tight window and he fit it in there perfectly.
Nice job.
Foxworth later he posted the clip on his social pages and said, I mean, I had to, right?
Hey, I got one more for you.
Okay. Yeah.
So I mentioned how over the last couple of days, the internet has found out about the Calgorithm.
Yes. Love the Calgorithm.
Can I read you a Calgorithm tweet?
Oh, please.
So we have Cal in Florida State this weekend. And Cal's bit on social media is really steering into the idea that they are Cal Berkeley, right? They're in the ACC and they play, let's say, a program that doesn't think like they do in Florida State this weekend.
Yeah,
so they've been steering into that. They
just played Auburn, right?
Yes. They've been steering into that a little bit this week, and there's a lot to that. So go check it out if you're interested. I'd like to read you one from a parody account, Admiral Bear fan of Cal Bears. People of Tallahassee, Cal's woke enforcement unit is taking your guns this weekend. You must place all firearms in our rainbow bins conveniently located throughout FSU's campus. Your guns will be confiscated and destroyed for your safety. Thank you for your prompt compliance.
My favorite Calgorithm tweet this week has been, hey, Florida State fans, just wanted you to know that we're striping the stadium this week. And it was like red for firefighter awareness and yellow for this and this. And it just became a rainbow.
People have comments, by the way, on Altuve.
Oh.
Aaron says he can take his shoe off, but he won't take off his shirt. Makes you think.
All right, that's pretty good. I'm going to allow that.
Also, text from the 202.
202.
It's like when Pat Bev showed the camera to the referee. Totally normal, totally cool.
Not showing him up at all.
All right. Matt Rhule is speaking right now. We could have some updates from him on the other side. But let's get to the tweet bag. Send in your tweets at Happer Show, at Connor Happer on the JTech Instructions on Twitter feed. And even if you email, it's still a tweet. Even if you text, it's a tweet. Even if you comment on YouTube, it's a tweet. Back after this with the Wednesday tweet bag on 1620 The Zone.
the Tweet Bag. You send your questions in, and we answer them. Like no other radio segment ever. It's the Tweet Bag on the Connor Happer Show.
Hey, by the way, I don't know if you heard the news. Nebraska and Illinois are going to play on Friday. It's the first.
What about high school football?
Non-Black Friday, non-9/11 weekday game at Nebraska ever, folks.
High school football.
What about high school football, Josh? Let me ask a better question. What about school? What about school?
We don't care about school.
The University of Nebraska-Lincoln reminded its students and staff today that Friday, September 20th, will be an instructional continuity day.
The hell does that mean?
That's what they call snow days now, I think, Josh. Classes are still a go, but they will not be in person. Students should check for messages from instructors on plans. Only essential employees will report to work on campus. It's like COVID and a snowstorm combined. It's Nebraska football.
Many have compared Nebraska football
to COVID
and a snowstorm.
It's a COVID snowstorm. So there you go. If you're a student at UNL and you're listening to this, don't go to school on Friday. Hell, don't even go to your, like, how many teachers do you think read that and they're like, okay, I'm not doing this.
They will not be paying attention to me.
There is no school on Friday. They can't officially say that, but there is no school on Friday. It'll be really fun to see how it all goes. Super unique. I mean, it's gonna be really weird for me because we're gonna do this show, Josh.
We are,
and then I'm gonna go straight to Lincoln and watch a college football game.
The show is on, for the record.
Show's on.
We are 1620, the pregame.
Yeah, it's a pregame for your pregame.
Yeah.
Nick and Gary have the pregame for the pregame for the pregame.
The pregame.
The pregame.
Pregame. 3 pre.
Leading to the game, of course. And then there's also the postgame. And then Severe's got the postgame. But it's not for another day afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
Usually it's several hours afterwards.
Yeah, we're not letting him do like a Saturday morning show.
Now we're going to still get him in here on Sunday. And then he can go watch the Saints on Sunday and he'll wear his weird jersey.
And they'll go, oh my gosh, they scored 44 points.
Wow,
again.
They might be the best team in the NFL. Somebody in my fantasy league spent a lot of free agent bucks on Derek Carr today.
Oh.
I was very intrigued by that.
He was available.
I am curious to see how this all looks. It will be a normal
Lincoln or Derek Carr?
Lincoln.
Okay.
It will be a normal business day of operations, and in Lincoln, obviously, school being out kind of changes the chemistry of it a little bit. But what's the tailgate scene going to look like on Friday? Probably not a whole lot going on, right? It's kind of just to show up and go to the football game.
Yeah, a little bit.
It's a little bit more, I don't know. It's a little bit more like baseball vibes.
Mm-hmm.
Just like we're just going to show up, go to this game, go home. Right? I mean, there'll still be tailgates and there'll still be people at the bars.
It's all sort of
whatever, but a lot less than on a regular
compacted.
Game. Yeah.
Which means maybe afterwards might be a little bit more of a show.
A little juicy?
Yeah.
A little juicy? Get something cooking on O Street.
How many trains will there be on Big Red Overreaction?
Honk, honk. But I'll be curious. No school on Friday in Lincoln unless your teacher says you have to go to online class. And then you could be a malcontent after that. A non-content. All right, Josh, tweet bag. Let's do this thing.
We begin with Ted.
What up, Ted?
Email.
Have you met Ted?
Have you met Ted? I have not met this Ted.
Have you met Ted?
Nebraska football has the documentary Chasing 3.
Yes.
What would the Connor Happer Show documentary be titled?
Remember that bit our first month or two where I said something about egg rolls?
Oh, yeah. It's all about the wonton.
It's all about the wonton. Yeah. It was such a weird take by me, but it was like the first thing that we grasped onto.
It was.
You know? Are they going to talk about Caitlin Clark? The Connor Happer Show documentary. Stupidity and lack of we have very few guardrails on this show.
Right.
You know, nobody really watches us. Nobody really listens to us.
Chasing subs,
chasing sliced meat.
Yeah.
Chasing chasing a changing of the guard.
A changing of the guard, the Connor Happer show.
This show is definitely executive produced by Connor Happer, the Connor Happer show. A lot of good options there. I say pick a winner out of that group.
Yeah. Kip.
What up,
email?
Kip.
Have you ever felt like you cheated death? I made the stupid mistake when I was younger and swerved to miss a deer on I-80 going 80 miles an hour in an SUV, and it shook me for a while.
For sure. I think there's been a few of those situations, I think. Less in a car. I got when I was a kid, I tried to swim through the ladder in the pool.
Oh no.
Got stuck. Yeah. And it was pretty touch and go there for a little while. We got our head up. I was like, my head was just above water until they came over and they unscrewed the damn thing. When I get hit in the throat by that line drive, I thought I was probably 6 inches away from death on that one. I don't know. Those are the first couple that come to my head. For sure, though. I mean, we probably do it on a daily basis, and we just don't realize it.
I have been in 2 separate car accidents where a policeman told me afterwards,
"You're lucky.
You should probably be dead."
Yikes!
I'm like, oh, thanks.
When I was driving to Colorado this summer for that wedding, I told you guys. I think I told you about how the car went flying through the air. Did I tell you about this, Josh? I was driving on 76 in Colorado, and all of a sudden, that on the eastbound traffic, I'm going westbound. On the eastbound traffic, a car just starts flying through the air. Oh my God! Look, it's flying, and it hits my side of the road. Probably less than a quarter mile in front of me. I'm watching this all happen, and it smashes into a car that's driving westbound. I pull up to the scene because I'm like the first car that's there. It's happening right in front of me.
I'm an eyewitness.
These people are outside and they're bloody. Like, it's horrifying. Everyone has survived, but people are they're just beside themselves. They're in shock. I'm like, whoa, am I in a movie right now? I don't think I had probably avoided death. I mean, I guess by a little bit, but I wouldn't have died. Just saved myself a lot of blood, probably. Those are some good examples.
Very good examples. Brian tweets into the show.
Hey, Brian.
With the new airport restaurants now announced, if you could add one more local restaurant to the list, what would it be?
Wow. You don't want to sit down at the airport and have Italian.
Right.
Probably. There's already a pizza place in there.
Mm-hmm.
We already have the fast food option in Runza. And then we got the burger in Block 16. That's covering a lot of ground right there. We got Fernando's for the tacos and the things of that nature. The Mexican food. Are we missing? Is there any glaring hole there, Josh, in terms of a type of food?
I don't know why this is the first thing that popped into my
Chinese.
head.
We can get Golden Palace in there. That'd be sick.
See,
they have.
That's what I thought.
They got a Panda Express though.
I thought it was too heavy, though. So I would champion the fine folks at Mahalo Poke Company.
Oh, he wants a poke bowl.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I don't think that I've ever had that.
Oh, it's delicious.
Is it?
Yeah.
I'm interested.
Rice. Little.
Brian says Auntie Anne's.
Oh, yeah. You can never go wrong there. I mean, that's
not cinnamon covered pretzel.
Not local, but definitely delicious.
Is Auntie Anne's not local?
No, that's a huge chain.
What's the local version of Auntie Anne's?
I don't know. Anyone making pretzels?
Are you sure Auntie Anne's isn't it didn't start here?
100%.
Who check on that, Josh?
Okay.
We got. I mean,
I'll fact check.
Cinnabon is the big national.
Founded February 2nd, 1988 in Downingtown, Pennsylvania.
It's not local.
Headquarters currently in Lancaster, Pennsylvania.
Lancaster. Aaron, a local brewery would be nice.
Oh, there are well, not a brewery.
They serve local beer, which is nice.
Yes.
But like a storefront local brewery, that'd be nice. That would be good. Bernie writes in.
Hi, Bernie.
Curious how many dispensaries Connor Happer visited before he saw the flying car in Colorado.
There's a car just flying across the air, man.
Not under the influence of anything. It was like wild. It was crazy. Which is what I realize a person on drugs, that person would say, wow, it was wild. But I'm telling you, it was wild.
Okay.
There was no drugs.
Local pretzel place. I don't know who runs this place. I don't know if this place is good or not. I just Googled a local pretzel shop.
Yep.
Prairie Gold Gourmet Pretzels came up.
Okay. What about those pretzels that everybody gets now? The big giant bags, the Dakota.
Oh, the like the Dots pretzels.
Dots. Yes.
People love those.
Those are good. We could just get some pretzels.
Mm-hmm.
Get a pretzel place. Ben writes in, he says the big news is that Omaha's a real city now, that we have a Hudson News. We had a Hudson News before, didn't we?
We had that.
It was right there on the corner when you walk into that north terminal there.
Douglas says chicken joint. Douglas, I'm happy to inform you.
We got the chicken man.
Guy Fieri will be opening a chicken restaurant at Eppley Airfield.
Los Pollos Hermanos.
Oh,
that's what it's going to be called.
I wish. Ethan tweets into the show.
Let's go, Ethan.
What's your favorite park to watch a baseball game in? Could be any level, not just majors.
I'm always partial to the ones that like, this is just how my brain works. The ones that I've experienced less. Like, I love the K and I love like Warner Park. They're good for like their own things. I would say that my two, I'll give you two. Ooh. And they're both very popular amongst baseball fans. Wrigley Field.
Sure.
Camden Yards.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
I've seen a game of both of those places. Neither of them disappointed. I like what they brought to the table. As you could see, that's kind of my style. Wrigley, what Wrigley has done has been nothing short of incredible, right? They have turned an old stadium into something that functionally works, has some modern amenities, but also still keeps the old charm.
Yes.
It's pretty impressive what they've done.
Tough pull.
Over the last couple of years. And they've made the outside really nice and a place where people can hang out and stuff like that. Wrigley is truly a great baseball experience. I think that's my winner.
Which is why Trev toured it in hopes of modernizing Memorial Stadium. Obviously, the project never got off the ground and he left and we should rip his name off the stadium.
Yeah,
but
he's canceled.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I agree with Wrigley. I will throw Safeco in there.
Safeco. I've never been to Seattle.
Whatever the hell they're calling it now.
T-Mobile?
Yeah, I think that's right.
I've never been to Seattle. I would like to go.
It's nice.
I would like to go.
Sal tweets in.
Hello, Sal.
If you have to shake someone's hand after leaving the restroom and your hands are still wet, do you shake their hand or explain you were in a hurry and your hands are still wet?
That is a very awkward one, Sal. Great question. I think you just say weirdly like, I just wash my hands.
Just wash my hands, maybe an off your elbow.
But my question would be, what do you do if you're that person?
Well, that is also dependent on the person, right? Like some people would be like, yeah, I don't care, shake my hand. Others would be like, ooh,
that's
no.
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, what do you do?
I would probably say, oh, okay, I get it. That we don't have to do this, especially so close to the bathroom.
If I'm already going in for the handshake, I'm just going to keep going.
Okay, that's part of it too.
I feel like it's polite, but then it does make the other person feel really bad.
How committed am I to the handshake?
Or you could just change it and go with the fist bump. That works usually. Or we don't have to do this, but then you have the awkward like, okay, wave or salute.
Well,
like, what do I do?
Big gulps, huh?
Yeah. then your entire conversation revolves around the bathroom, and that's not what you want either. It's a tricky one. It's a great question. Mostly I do the really awkward, like, yeah, sorry, hands, and then just kind of move on. But it never gets off to a great start.
Right.
This happens to me in this office all the time. All the time.
Bathroom, very popular place in this office.
People love that place.
Cody is allowing you an opportunity to talk about the Royals.
Thank you, Cody.
What is your level of concern for the Royals? Because as they say in Super Troopers, I'm freaking out, man.
Okay, so there's a couple different ways you could look at this. Number one,
okay,
I didn't think they'd be in this position in the first place.
That's right.
All right. But they had built themselves up this nice cushion prior to it getting a little hairy over the last 2 weeks now. They lost 7 games in a row. Then they kind of got hot again. And then they are, these 2 games against the Tigers have not been good. Am I freaking out? Of course. Yes. But did I think they'd be in this position at the beginning of the season? No, I didn't think they'd make the playoffs this year. And it still seems as if they're going to make the playoffs.
It does.
Yes. Okay. So, I don't know what the answer to that question is, but I guess I am freaking out. Yes. I guess I am freaking out.
Okay. Texts?
Yes, I have those.
Okay.
Pedro.
Hi, Pedro.
Hi, guys. Just wondering, what is the highest place you have ever jumped from? Is it a diving platform, a bungee cord tower, or skydiving? Or those are just examples, I guess. What's the highest place you've ever jumped from?
I think mine would be a diving platform.
You ever gone to the high one?
Yeah.
The one in like Hitchcock back in the days?
Burke had a pretty high one.
Burke Pool?
Yeah.
Where's the Burke Pool? Oh, like inside?
Yeah, right next to the gym.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I probably did that in middle school.
Mm-hmm.
They had one at Morton.
Yeah, Morton had, yep. Maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
That would probably be my answer.
Our spot is the same. The same spot, Connor.
The same spot. I can't think of, because I've never gone like bungee jumping or anything like that. And I've definitely never jumped out of a plane.
Yeah, you're not a heights guy.
No.
As you've said before on the show.
No, I prefer not to. I've ridden a couple roller coasters, but that's all. Yeah, that I guess that's my answer. Let's see. Venmo Chris, tweetbag topics you're more likely to talk about: the upcoming election or that Caitlin Clark story. Josh, you're the executive producer of this show.
We do subtly offer election commentary from time to time.
Yeah, I mean, like, we're not going to break it down, We're not going to break it down.
They are eating the cats, though.
It is interesting how that night, like, we'll show up on
that night.
We'll show up on November 6th. By the way, Creighton will play that night against UTRGV. So our minds will be quickly moved on to Creighton basketball season.
Thank God.
But we'll show up on Wednesday, November 6th, and my commentary on it will be the same as it is every election I've ever been in its chair for, which is, wow, this is so sportsy, and I can't take my eyes off it. I cannot take my eyes off it. I love election coverage. I don't care about politics. I am not probably very well versed in them, although I kind of get it at this point. But man, do I love election coverage, because that's my sports brain. My sports brain just takes over and it turns into sports. We got the big board guys coming out talking about what needs to happen to get this, and here's an interesting trend that's developing. This is, they're not getting the single white female vote from this Miami-Dade County. We're always talking about Miami-Dade County.
Always, and we will again in a few months.
Maricopa County. We're always going to be talking about Maricopa County too. So I love
what's going on there.
I love election coverage. So we'll talk about it in that way on November 5th. Right before we get to our big UTRGV preview.
And we'll go, why isn't this thing over yet?
Yeah. I will be gone on the 4th, and then I'll be here on the 5th. And then the 6th will be a Creighton basketball game already. Gosh, we are not very long away from that right now, Josh.
I think I saw a thing that said 50 days. Can that be right?
College basketball? That's almost for sure correct. Right? They start right around Halloween.
It is 47 days until the presidential election.
Oh, boy.
We love countdowns on 1620.
We do love countdowns. We can't stop having the countdowns. I do love election coverage. Sorry. Anything on the streams or anything like that we need to get to?
Travis asking people, maybe just dry your hands properly when leaving the restroom.
Yeah, but come on.
Good
Travis, be an adult. Like, nobody has time for that.
You don't have time to dry your hands?
Not all the way. No.
We have paper towels in our restroom.
There's always going to be some moisture left on your hands when you walk out that door.
Okay.
You're joking.
Not 100%.
If you're telling me that your hands are completely dry after you're washing your hands coming out of the bathroom, you're a liar. You're just not.
But you're up over 85%.
I still have the towel with me because I have used the paper towel to touch the handle on the door.
Okay.
To open up the door. I will continue scrubbing it down as much as I can, wiping off as much moisture as I can, and then throwing it out at the nearest trash can after I get out of the restroom. But even then, there is still moisture, probably all the way up until, if we're using my going to the bathroom in this workplace as an example, there's probably still moisture until I get back into this seat. It's there.
Okay.
It's there. You can't get rid of all of it. Only time can. And God. That's it?
That's the bag.
All right. Thank you for participating. Somebody, or maybe many people, have won tickets to the Storm Chasers game on Tuesday. You'll find out because Josh will slide in your DMs or he'll send you a text if you were texting.
I'll ask you to shake my hand
on in the show.
I want to shake your hand.
Virtually shake Josh's hands. We will return. Don't forget, Robin Washut will still join us at the top of the hour. Mitch Sherman is coming up after that. So we'll have a full 1 o'clock hour. I have some do you knows. Josh wants to talk about kombucha.
Oh, yeah.
And some other things before we get out of here. It's the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
he does it the only way he knows how. With his massive sports brain sprinkled with a smidgen of rabble-rousing. Let's get back to the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
I got a release here from the 1890 initiative, Josh.
Oh, Matt and them boys.
Wonder if their logo will be on the field.
Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't.
Who knows?
Who knows?
There's no rhyme or reason. But the 1890 initiative has partnered with Ensign Beverage Company, which is a kombucha brewer headquartered in Hastings, Nebraska. I didn't know they were making the booch in Hastings. I was not aware of that.
That's a poll question.
Did you know they were making the booch in Hastings? Yeah, please put it out there.
Please continue.
Ensign Beverage Company will introduce a new kombucha brand, 1890 Nebraska Kombucha, with proceeds from purchases helping to support NIL initiatives through 1890. Maybe if they sell enough kombucha, they won't have to ask for the talent fees on top of the tickets.
You can help Nebraska fans prevent yourself from having to pay a talent fee.
Buy kombucha. 1890 Nebraska Kombucha will initially be available in one flavor. That's, of course, Champion's Cherry Limeade.
Of course.
Which was inspired by requests from Husker volleyball players. Like other Ensign kombucha products, Champion's Cherry Limeade will be a low-sugar blend with just 2 grams of sugar, 2 grams of carbs, and 15 calories per 12-ounce can. 1890 Nebraska Kombucha will be available in cans and kegs, starting in Lincoln and surrounding areas, with plans to broaden distribution throughout Nebraska. Why are you laughing, Josh? This is a press release. It's not funny.
A keg of kombucha?
Well, I don't know. You want to serve it at the bars? Do you have any kombucha?
Yeah, I got a keg out back.
Jesse Haft, who is the
hi, Jesse,
co-founder of Ensign Beverage Company, says this: while we are big fans of 1890s Cornhead beverages, we thought it'd be cool to promote something that athletes have access to and are already drinking. In Champion's Cherry Limeade, tart cherry meets traditional black tea kombucha with just a touch of sweetness.
Just what we needed, the official kombucha of Husker Athletics.
Would you like me to read one more?
Oh, yeah.
All right, one more quote. This is from 1890 CEO Carson Schott.
Hi, Carson.
Ensign Brewing Company already brews kombucha that Nebraska Athletics serves at the Lewis training table, and their product came with the athlete's stamp of approval. So when they reached out about collabing, we knew they were a perfect fit. We also appreciate Ensign's commitment to crafting healthy beverages, as well as their dedication to furthering public education about water conservation, health, and access. For more information, visit 1890kombucha.com. Why are we doing this segment? Because we like to say the word kombucha.
Now, we like to joke around a lot that this show, the Connor Happer Show, is your favorite sports host's favorite show, right? So if there are any scribes listening,
what is kombucha?
It's straight trash is what it is. I only need one thing from you. I don't ask a lot. I don't ask for favors. Look it up. Check the record. I need someone to ask John Cook about kombucha. What are your thoughts on kombucha? What are your thoughts on 1890s kombucha?
He's going to say, well, the kids love it.
The kids
love it, so I love it. This is an idea made by Nebraska volleyball players. Don't you think differently of it now? Joshua's going to he was going to dunk on this thing all day long. And then he heard, oh, wait, Nebraska volleyball players like it. Maybe I like it.
No, I don't. This is in the same vein as Harper Murray stealing John Cook's phone and creating a TikTok account and sending out TikToks on it. And then the media was forced to ask John Cook about his TikTok account, which was hilarious, by the way.
Yeah.
I would like them to do that with the kombucha.
Josh, you're of the media. Go ask John Cook.
I don't have the time to drive to Lincoln.
I'm busy.
Simply to ask John Cook about kombucha.
By the way, if you Google what is kombucha, It is a according to AI.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's fermented trash.
Which AI, this whole Google AI thing has been wildly helpful.
Yes.
Wildly helpful.
The Google AI is helpful, but I mean, also scary. Don't change our opinion on it.
100%.
It's terrifying. It will be the death of us all, but it is quite helpful.
Kombucha is a fermented drink made from tea, sugar, bacteria, and yeast. It's a fizzy, low-calorie beverage that's often flavored with fruit, honey, or sugar. It is sometimes called kombucha mushroom tea, but it's not made with fungi. The mushroom is actually a symbiotic colony of bacteria and yeast.
Symbiotic colony, like Venom from Spider-Man?
Exactly. I think that's what they're referring to. It contains small amounts of sugar and caffeine, and it also contains some alcohol.
Hello.
The alcoholic content is generally around 0.5%, which is similar to NA beer. Drinking too much kombucha can cause side effects such as stomach pain, allergic reaction, diarrhea, nausea, dizziness, and headache.
So,
Josh,
yes.
Will you buy some booch?
Not a chance in hell. I tried kombucha one time. I was like, what's this kombucha?
Somebody tried to feed me kombucha one time too, and I was like, sure, whatever. Yeah, I'll try it.
Target's got all this kombucha. Everybody's drinking kombucha. Okay, it's good for you. I'll try it. I got the drink just in front of my mouth and nose, and I knew, oh, this is a terrible idea. I took a drink, I put the beverage down, and never came back to it.
They tried to feed it to me at Costco samples. I'll take anything on the Costco samples.
Sure.
You ever notice, by the way, how they always have pizza rolls of the Costco samples? You know how many pizza rolls I've eaten from the Costco samples? So many. I've never tried anything new from the Costco samples, except for the one day. They said, would you like to try this kombucha? And I said, no.
Hard pass.
I would not like to try the kombucha. And then the person, I kind of felt bad for the person, and I tried to make a joke, and I was like, well, I'm trying to lay off this stuff. I'm off the stuff. And then I just kept walking.
So there's probably somebody listening in their car right now saying,
guys, you wouldn't understand. It has great health benefits.
Well, that is definitely happening. But also, guys, this doesn't really warrant a segment. Why are you talking about the booch? Well, the comments are rolling in, actually.
Go ahead, Josh.
Asian Joe.
Hello, Asian Joe.
Hastings is the birthplace of Kool-Aid. How does 1890 not have a Kool-Aid partnership, since Husker fans have been known to drink the Kool-Aid annually?
That's an interesting question.
That is. Travis. Hi, Travis.
Sorry. Hi, Travis.
Not all kombucha is created equal. There are truly some nasty tasting ones out there.
Really?
Yeah.
Travis, find me a good kombucha and send it my way.
What's a good one? Give us a rec. Hurtin' Husker fan. I'm from Hastings, and I've never heard of this brewer brand. Well, that's part of the partnership. They get exposure on a level they've never had before, right?
Yeah.
I like that.
I've been around Hastings for a long time. I'd never heard of it either. I know about Hastings.
Travis has circled back. Sorry, your palate isn't sophisticated enough to appreciate kombucha, Josh.
One more from Travis.
I didn't realize you're as uncultured as Connor. Sad. Talking about booch greater than talking about the Caitlin Clark thing.
I like calling it the booch. It feels almost illegal, but I like it. Aaron writes in,
hi, Aaron.
Having lived 10 years in Oregon, I've tried my fair share of kombucha. The good stuff is legitimately really good. The bad stuff is bad.
Oh, there's no middle ground on kombucha?
Is this like a coffee, beer, craft beer situation?
Oh.
Actually, I don't think that I've had a bad coffee yet.
Whoa, look at you.
I think it's all bad, and then you just do it, But then over time it becomes good. Text on 402.
Hi, 402.
Would you happen to know if Caitlin Clark drinks kombucha?
I would bet yes.
Do you think so? Yeah, I guess. I mean, she's a
lib.
She's a young woman.
A lib.
She's a trendsetter.
Yeah. But
definitely a lib.
A Midwest trendsetter.
A Midwest trendsetter. Maybe she's behind.
A little slower to the trends.
I have another story for this segment, which is good, by the way.
Oh.
This segment is good.
I'm loving this segment.
We haven't checked in on Coach Prime for a little while here. What's he up to?
Okay, no, we haven't. Thought we were done with that guy.
No, he's still saying things at his press conference.
Well, he's allowed.
Sanders said, quote, "When I say I genuinely love these kids, I genuinely really do. It's not about what they can do for me on the football field. It's about what I can help them with in life. The landscape has changed in football. Once upon a time, you guys, the media, never attacked college players. Now they're making more money than y'all, and some of y'all are envious and jealous about that, so you're on the attack." It was hands off for a college player because they were an amateur. You remember that, guys? Now it's hands on. Go at them any kind of way you want. They are making more money than me, and I'm mad about it. When you attack them, these guys are sensitive. They've never been attacked. They haven't gone through that. They haven't gone through what a grown man, ... what I've been going through with y'all for years. They haven't done that. So it is what it is. I know you're going to do your job and you do what you must do, but your job does not say to attack the personal stuff. Leave it to be personal, because if we start flipping the script on y'all, you wouldn't like it.
He got two things right in that clip.
All right.
Kind of forgot the first one. The second one is they are not grown men. They are tiny baby boys.
Do you think it is open season on college players now?
Certainly more so.
Do you think it's because the media is jealous because they make more money than them?
That is not the reason at all.
The media is very accustomed to not making any money.
Yes.
I'll speak for the media on that one.
It's a lot like becoming a teacher.
Yeah.
You do it because you love it.
Yeah. Yeah. And that doesn't mean you're not going to complain about it. You're going to complain about it.
I married a teacher.
Of course. I did too.
We're a poverty program.
Now, you are, doesn't mean we're not going to complain about it. We're going to keep complaining about it. But I don't think this is like this thing where college players get paid millions of dollars now, or $1 million, or hundreds of thousands of however many dollars now. And now I feel like, okay, I'm mad at them, so let's criticize them more. No, I think they get criticized more because they want to be treated like professionals more. And for the record, I don't think anybody's really getting attacked. That Dion likes to say the word attacked.
If you do things like quit in the fourth quarter of the game and decide not to watch your teammates bust their ass on the field, and then the next week win a game and try and badmouth the losing team, yes, I as the media will ask, what's going on there?
By the way, where did you come out on that whole deal? Where did you come out on the
so
Braden Fowler Nicolisi versus Shedeur Sanders handshake?
Colorado State talked the talk and lost.
Yes.
And did not act quite.
I don't think so either. Now, he went up to shake his hand.
And Shedeur would not.
And Shedeur did not shake his hand. And he pointed at him and he said, "You keep talking on Instagram." And I was like, okay, just shake his hand. You know.
Maybe you do it once and then like, okay, you shake his hand. But then I guess I don't really care.
I don't think if both sides have angered me in this situation now.
If that was a match between Illinois and Kansas, for example, I would not have cared. I'm like, yeah, he talked trash on you and you beat him. Yeah, fine. But because it's Shedeur, I'm a little torn. I guess I'm biased. The biased media.
Yep, classic Josh attacking Shedeur because he makes money.
No, I attack him because he sucks.
Nice, Josh. But you wouldn't have said that if he didn't make money and he wasn't better than you.
Yeah, I would have. No, I would have called Colorado a YMCA team because its coach's son is the quarterback.
All right. Don't forget, Robin Washut, Mitch Sherman will still join us today on the show. We'll be back after this on 1620 The Zone. I do have a reminder for you all, though.
A reminder?
That is about $25,000 four-quarter pick'em. What did he just say? $25,000 four-quarter pick'em.
That's a lot of money, Connor.
Yes, we don't just call it that because it's like free beer, No, it's really $25,000 four-quarter pick'em. Make your picks now. Get a piece of that prize. We're giving away $2,500 every single week. You can play on our website, 1620thezone.com. We have our week one winner, Kyle Tebow. Maybe he was Tebowing.
Did he do better than me, who went 9-1? Almost impossible.
I actually don't know the answer to that question.
I don't either.
Yeah. I don't. He won, though.
He did.
He won out of the people who could win.
I was ineligible.
So he won $2,500, and then he is still entered into the season-long extra $750 at the end of the year, and you could win twice. Like, you could be walking away in pretty good shape. All you have to do is play four-quarter pick'em. And by the way, if you subscribe to 1620 the email, you're able to get your picks in on Monday. The Monday tiebreakers actually ended up being good for Kyle this week because he got his picks. He was one of the first people to get his picks in. Love to see it. Play along with us this year. A lot of money at stake. 1620thezone.com.
Let's get back to the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
Here comes the clown.
Hey, Josh, we've been looking for a better name for our show for 2 years now. How about Boochin' with the Boys?
I kind of like it. Boochin' with the Boys.
We would have to really like kombucha and probably get a kombucha sponsor.
Kombucha. I mean, we'd really just have to have it in front of us like a college football coach at a press conference with that bottle of Coke.
Yeah. Here's my Gatorade.
Definitely drinking it. I just put it there casually, label out.
So what's a special game? And it's brought to you by Life Water or Smart Water or whatever it is. Let me just go ahead and turn this label over. Nebraska will see its 400th consecutive football sellout.
People forget.
On Friday. The sellout streak began November 3rd, 1962. Nebraska took on Missouri that day. Who knew that day it would be the first of 400 in a row at least? I believe we're at 401. We're not quite to 402 yet. Is this right?
That is correct. Last
wow, we had to celebrate the 402 sellout too.
402.
A great area code.
Only people in Omaha can attend, and Lincoln.
Yeah, the 308s. Sorry to the 3. Well, the 402s. The 402's not just Omaha and Lincoln.
Right.
It's many places in the state. Did the 308 only come in because they just ran out of 402s?
Was that the rollover area
or is that the 531? We have a 531 now as well.
I don't remember.
Look at Nebraska.
308 is Western Nebraska.
Like what's the line on Western Nebraska?
It's very.
If you're Josh Peterson, it's like 168th Street.
It's very jagged. It starts in the middle. Picture a map. I'm going to do this for the radio audience and the pods. The southern border of Nebraska. We're in the middle. We're going north. We're going north. We're going north, and then we rapidly jut out to the east.
Yeah,
a long ways, like 2/3 of the way into the state,
up into the northeast corner.
Right.
That makes sense because that's where civilization is.
And then we zag back to the middle of the state, and then almost go due west before going back north to the northern border of the state.
Nebraska lost that first game of the sellout streak.
Oh man,
something that you won't find in the game notes this week. Nebraska lost 16-7 to Missouri that day. Very interesting. It was their first home loss of the season. Almost like it was just then that it started Nebraska's horrible, horrible disappointments and letdowns in big games. That was probably the original read out around the world.
They were definitely like, okay, we got to show out in full force for this game, everybody. Team needs us. Mizzou's coming to town.
Text from the 402. Did you know that the 400th consecutive sellout was supposed to be the Colorado game, but due to COVID, it was delayed to this weekend? I guess that math mildly makes sense. It would have been another. I mean, the schedule has been so messed with over the last 5 years now, that it could have been anything.
Thanks, COVID.
Appreciate it, I guess, COVID, and we get to have this special night.
Oh, but what if now we get to have two special nights? Because
two special nights.
If Colorado had been the 400th sellout, I mean, it would have been even bigger.
Nebraska has a record of 324-75 during the sellout streak.
Not bad.
During those sellouts.
Pretty good.
Friday's game against number 24 Illinois is the 89th matchup against a ranked opponent during the sellout streak.
People forget.
With Nebraska owning a 47-39 marks in those games so far.
Yeah, don't love that.
Nebraska has been victorious in each of the milestone sellout games in the series.
Oh.
They won sellout number 100 in a row, 42-17 against Penn State in 1979. They beat Colorado in 1994 as the number 2 team in the country for sellout 200, 24-7. That is one of the monumental games in the Colorado series. They shut out Louisiana Lafayette 55-0 in 2009 for the 300th consecutive sellout. And
a shutout.
Yeah. Interesting. Josh is thinking about calling for a shutout this week. I could feel it.
I don't know. Tune in Friday.
We remember the 2009 sellout because of the cool jerseys that they wore that day, and Sue, the pictures of Sue. 55-0 for the 300th consecutive sellout. Great question from the text line. Who did we play in the 69th sellout?
Do you have that info handy?
I absolutely do not, and it would take me a long period of time to do it. Maybe Dave Fight has it somewhere.
It feels like that would be the one.
Dave writes in, did Akron count as a sellout? No.
Okay.
It did not happen. The game didn't happen. So it doesn't count, right? I assume that's how it works.
You tell me. You got the numbers.
Those are the only numbers I have. I'm just answering questions now. Steve writes in. He has a question.
Hi, Steve.
How do we celebrate sellout number 420?
Legalize it. Not a chance.
I mean, what? What are we looking at? 3 years? 3 years? We get to 420 and we legalize it by then?
Have you met Jim?
4 years?
Governor Jim Pillen?
4 years, 5 years, maybe?
Nah.
Somebody do the schedule work, do the math work on that one, and see which game sellout 420 is going to be.
A group of very committed fans, I'm sure, will bring their own party favors.
Legalize it! Dave says sellout 300 was the last sellout. Was sellout 300 the last sellout? Or the last shutout is what he said? Shutout. I didn't mean sellout.
What are we talking
sellout
about?
300 was the last shutout. I thought it was that. I thought it was the Holiday Bowl. When they shut out Arizona 33-0. Well, I guess that would have been at the end of that same year. The last shutout in the sellout series.
Well, isn't he talking about at Memorial Stadium?
I guess that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
The last home shutout.
Dave concurs.
Why not? Hoiberg says we'll celebrate sellout number 420 in a row by smoking our opponent. Whoever it may be that day.
There it is.
There's your answer, Steve. Smoking the competition. We've talked kombucha. We've talked smoking on this show. This is an interesting show today.
What year did this all start?
1962. All
right.
Josh, this is going to take you some time.
Well, luckily you're talking to many guests.
That's true. So are you counting one by one?
Just give me the schedule. I don't need to know who the 1962 Heisman Trophy winner was. Good God.
John emails in.
Hi, John.
Nebraska has a record of 324-75 in the sellout streak games, the basically home games for the last 60 years. He says 57 of those losses were by Scott Frost. Now, I don't think that math really works, but it's close. It's a lot of them.
Dave has maybe saved me quite a bit of counting and headache. Sellout 69 was Mizzou in 1974. All right.
A lot of Missouri games on here.
Well, they played a lot.
Yeah. Thank you, Dave. Dave's got all your information. He's writing a bunch of good stuff, by the way, too, on the sellout.
And I read via his Twitter feed, he's actually happy with it. A lot of us people who create things for a living, we have to watch it and listen to it and read it again and again and again to the point where we hate it.
Yeah.
He's actually said, I've worked on a bunch of stuff this week and like it.
I'm proud of it.
Man, that was a 21-10 loss to Missouri.
What's up with losing to Missouri?
I thought we never did that until like
sellout number
04.
1 and sellout number 69, both losses to Missouri.
Sad.
Well, we'll just have to wait till sellout number 420 to play him again.
Bring back Mizzou. Bring back Mizzou.
All right. We will return with Robin Washut. I think, by the way, but just to not make too much light out of it, it'll be cool this Friday. I mean, really unique. Really, really unique Friday night home game, ranked on ranked. People are scared, but they're confident at the same time. I'm excited to see what kind of stuff Nebraska does to commemorate the 400th consecutive sellout. Will there be a patch? I know there's logos going to be posted all around the stadium. I'm sure you can get commemorative like stuff from this game.
Souvenir cup?
I almost certainly. Almost certainly. Yeah, so I'm excited to see all the stops that Nebraska will pull out on Friday. It'll be a cool moment.
Yeah, it's a big deal, and the game has sort of almost out of nowhere seemingly risen to the level of the atmosphere.
Yeah, it's less about like it's not against Louisiana Tech, so it's not about the 400th consecutive sellout anymore. It's about the game.
Yeah.
Which is odd.
But nice.
I really enjoy it.
Yes.
Yeah, it's truly great that it is about the football again around here. But yeah. And I'm glad that there was not any talk of the sellout streak dying. We've put those talks to bed.
Couldn't be us.
We'll be back with Robin coming up on 1620 The Zone.
the biggest basketball coaching convention of.
And work on your skills. Are you looking?
What?
You don't want them there? Yeah, I'm talking.
What is going on? Robin, are you okay?
Robin Washut.
Are your kids near you, or what just happened?
Husker Online.
I took a lot of preparation to make this thing a flawless interview, and clearly I still can't avoid it.
Robin Washut, Husker Online.
Maybe it was aliens. Maybe it was a phenomenon that we can't explain.
The Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
All right, we're joined now on the 42 Degrees of Source hotline by Robin Washut of HuskerOnline.com. Hello, Robin.
What's happening?
Where's this schedule? I thought we were supposed to have a schedule by now. What's going on over there with the basketball?
Thursday. They threw it all the way out for basically almost 2 full weeks after it was supposed to come out for various reasons, I'm sure. But during the Big Ten Today show on BTN, I think that's 11 a.m. Central tomorrow, they're going to drop it. And I'm sure games will get leaked leading up to that point. But the full, complete conference schedule for next season will be officially here by this time tomorrow.
Exciting. So exciting. I can't wait. We'll have to break in probably to our show and go straight over to BTN to get to get the schedule.
Instant analysis. We need it.
Hey, so you were there. I haven't heard the audio yet of Rhule talking about Micah Mazuka's availability yet for the weekend. Because I see the quote and it says, he's going to be able to suit up and he'll be able to play. He's not going to start. Like, how did that sound to you? And what should we expect, if anything, from Micah Mazuka this weekend or on Friday?
Well, I actually asked the question. Basically, I said, with Micah out, who's the number 2 right guard behind Henry? And Rhule made it a point to say, Micah's not out. He's going to suit up. He's going to be available to play. He's not going to start. Henry's going to get the start. But if we need him, he'll be available. And so you just compare that from 48 hours earlier with Rhule saying that Micah was not going to play. And the fact that he not only didn't suit up, but was not even seen at the game last week. That's quite the progress that's been made, I guess, apparently from Monday to Wednesday. So certainly good news there for Nebraska. My guess would be that, Utowski starts, but if for whatever reason they feel like they need a spark, they're not going to hesitate to put Mazuka back in the lineup. This game's too important to, probably continue to make a point that's been pretty well made, it seems like, over the last couple of weeks. So we'll see how that actually plays out, but we know for sure that Mazuka is going to be there. He's going to be ready to play if needed, and my assumption would be that the odds are that he probably will see the field at some point.
What is your, I don't know about concern level, but given this challenge is different than what you've experienced in your first 3 games, and maybe they're trying to, Illinois is a little closer to Northern Iowa just in the style that they play, I suppose, but they're not these spread it around and move it up and down the field fast, although they have thrown it quite a bit and they have a couple good wide receivers. What do you think the challenge is for Nebraska this week, given Illinois, their recent history with each other, thinking back to that game last year and what Nebraska has played so far on their schedule?
I mean, I guess that's always the challenge, is making that jump from Big Ten play. I guess the good news is Nebraska had 3 games to kind of figure some things out before jumping straight into league play, whereas before they've dove in head first right out of the gate. So that's a little bit different this year that I think will probably put them a little bit more ready for that step up in physicality and all that comes with the league, maybe than they have in previous years. I guess from a matchup standpoint, I guess offensively, the biggest concern is just, not concern, but question is just Raiola, taking that next step. He's going to play probably the best defense that he's faced to date. And it's one that does a lot of kind of head games with you, to where they're obviously talented across the board and have a really veteran back end in the secondary, but play a lot of, pre-snap games with you and try to bait you into making mistakes by showing one coverage and then immediately shifting into another that's completely different. And so Dylan's ability to kind of recognize, anticipate, and then react to those disguises that Illinois is going to throw at them is going to be pretty imperative, because this is a game where it's an extremely opportunistic defense that if they're able to bait him into mistakes, they're going to take advantage of it. And, those types of plays, and especially now we're into league play, can and usually are the difference between winning and losing. So that's the first thing, is just this next step in Dylan's evolution. How is he going to handle all that comes with, the increased degree of difficulty with Illinois' defense? And then I guess on the other side of the ball, Illinois has not run the ball well at all.
Yeah.
So Nebraska has to continue that to make Illinois one-dimensional. And then the next step to that is they got those two big playmakers on the perimeter, but more importantly, they have a quarterback who's, I guess not the most talented quarterback Nebraska's going to play this year, but he's a dual threat guy, and guys that can move around and extend plays have sometimes given Nebraska problems. So being able to contain Luke Altmaier as a runner, not just from scrambling, but, don't let him just buy time in the pocket to where your secondary has to cover for, 10 to 15 seconds, and be able to get some pressure on him and make him uncomfortable. Like that's going to be kind of the key there, where you got to make him one-dimensional, but then you also have to keep that, QB mobility under control to avoid, coverage busts or any big plays that those two receivers are capable of making.
Is this the game where Nebraska has to ask a little bit more of Dylan Raiola? Like you just mentioned the whole spiel at the beginning of, being baited into stuff, whatever it might be. Like, is this the game where it's close enough, late enough, where the offense has to go down and do something, and they're asking their quarterback to, to take them to that place? Or do you think it's a situation where it gets later in the game and Nebraska is still kind of sitting on top of and nursing a lead?
I mean, I guess we'll see, but I don't think they have any reservations about, dialing things up more with Dylan. I mean, that was kind of the whole narrative last week, was how the rest of the offense needed to kind of catch up with him. So I don't think that that's any concern on their end. And probably, as great as everything has been for Nebraska these first three games, that's kind of the one missing element, is that he really hasn't faced any sort of late game pressure and really not much adversity. They haven't trailed all year. So if he gets in that situation, again, that kind of goes back to my first point, is just how does he handle it, on that stage? I think, again, there's a lot of confidence that he'll handle it correctly and, be able to take that moment for what it is. But he's still a freshman who has not faced that situation yet in his college career. So you just don't know until he actually goes out and do it. You don't know how he's going to respond. But if it comes down to it and, they need to make a 2-minute drive to, get to take the lead or win the game, I don't think that they're going to be worry about holding back the offense. I think that they feel good enough with their situation at quarterback that they're going to let it fly if needed.
Yeah, to be clear, Robin, I don't have very many concerns about him. That's for sure. Like I don't know, if you're looking for things that could go wrong, I that's not the first person that I go to. And to be fair, like I don't know what that might be for Nebraska right now with what they've showed over the first three games. But I don't know, like if we're going like trust rankings of Nebraska football players at this point, he's pretty high on the list through just 3 games.
Yeah, I guess maybe my concern would be, like, I'm just thinking of it, is staying on schedule. Like, they need to get more out of that running game. And like you saw against Colorado early, they were getting 5-6 yards a pop on first down, and then talk about all this pressure on the freshman quarterback. Well, that pressure gets decreased significantly when you're second and short or second and medium, as opposed to second and 12. And that Northern Iowa game, they didn't do a good job of staying on schedule. They had a lot of 0 to negative runs that made Dylan kind of have to do it all. And I think you want to avoid that situation, especially against this defense, to keep Dylan out of potentially risky situations as much as possible. I would anticipate Nebraska leaning on that run game early. And for me, like, this is where Dante Dowdell kind of takes the reins. Like, they've been kind of figuring out their rotation, playing a lot of guys here and there. It didn't seem to be really any rhythm in that room. But Matt Rhule today said that he wants his lead back to have around 20 carries, and then their number 2 back to have around 15. So if there was a point where they're going to, kind of narrow down that workload, this would appear to be it. And again, with all that we've talked about, having Dante Dowdell get 20-some carries and get close to that 100-yard mark, that would be a significant boost to Nebraska's chances.
All right, Robin. Appreciate it as always. We'll let you go, and we'll see you on Friday night.
All righty. Talk to you later.
Robin Washut of HuskerOnline.com. Now, my days are all thrown off because the game was Friday. Rhule did his regular Thursday press conference today. So now my brain is adjusted to thinking it's Thursday, and there's still a whole nother day. There's high school games tomorrow. Rhule said today that they want to go to some high school games, and
they did last week.
And then they're going to play on Friday.
Don't get too ahead of yourself, and then
it's very confusing.
Disappointed when you're like, "Oh man, this week is so long."
Is it the 400th consecutive sellout or the 401st? I can't tell.
Who can say anymore?
All right, we'll come back. We'll quickly re-rack it and get in touch with Mitch Sherman of The Athletic coming up on 1620 The Zone.
Who do you want to talk about first?
Mitch Sherman, The Athletic.
He can play. And we need people that can play.
And we'll never be royal. Let me live that fantasy.
Mitch Sherman, The Athletic. On the Connor Happer Show. On 1620, The Zone.
Well, a week ago, we wondered, where would we be today on the Royals? And the answer, is it going to be an upswing? Is it going to be a downswing? Are we on the roller coaster? The answer is downswing. I am very concerned. Here is Mitch Sherman of The Athletic. Joins us now on the 42 Degrees Source Hotline. Hi, Mitch.
Hey, Connor. I'm concerned, but maybe not as concerned as you. Like, I feel like other teams are just continuing to lose, and it's getting so close to the end of the season that they're going to get a wild card spot, and then it's probably going to be a short stay in the playoffs.
Yeah, I guess that is my concern. You'd
like to go in playing well, though.
That's part of it too. I don't know. I don't want to limp in there. That's for sure.
I'm happy about Bobby Witt, that he's refound his stroke, and that he's 30-30, and the grand slam the other night was great. You hate to have a game where you waste a grand slam and a loss, though. That's just all what teams' records historically are when they hit a grand slam. It's got to be pretty high. So that was a demoralizing defeat.
I would imagine. Yeah, I would imagine it is pretty high, especially when it puts you up 4-0 in the game. That always seems pretty good as well.
I was listening. One quick thing. I was listening as I was leaving Nebraska football practice to you guys talk about the airport and what restaurant was missing.
Yeah,
so I just wanted to add my 2 cents.
Please do, by all means, Mitch.
I think that they need to add an ice cream dessert place. So, like either cone flour, or a Grayling, which is my personal favorite in the Omaha metro area.
What's that, Josh? What did he say?
Grayling in La Vista. Is that where it's at, or Papillion?
It's in downtown Papillion.
Yeah.
Oh, never heard of such a thing. Oh, you could, Ted Wally's is a friend of the station. Any of the local ice cream.
Perfect because it's local. Yeah, I mean all three of those are local. Barbecue was my other thought.
Yeah, Omaha is an interesting barbecue. We do not have a great staple barbecue place, do we?
Not anywhere that's like so well known just as the place to go for barbecue, but things do pop up, and the one I want to try that I'm going to, well, I've actually tasted it, but I've not been to the establishment, is this Jay's Smokehouse that Matt Rhule went on and on about a few weeks ago.
Really? Okay. Now hold on. I didn't hear him say this. What is this? Jay's?
Yeah, just like the letter J apostrophe S. It may also be in Papillion, although somebody tweeted at me that I was incorrect about the location and they had moved more into the heart of Omaha. So I've got to look it up and then get there. I had some at a tailgate before the Colorado game down in Lincoln. Someone had catered it, brought in Jay's Smokehouse, and it was outstanding. So I need to get in there and check it out.
Josh, what we find?
Talked about it. We'll talk about it in preseason camp. I can't remember the context that they had. They had them cater in something, but he definitely talked about it, and it was noted in the media.
So we have a Ray's original versus famous Ray's sort of thing here. There's a Jay's Smokehouse Barbecue and a Smokin' Jay's Barbecue in Omaha. So I hope he got the name right.
I think it's Jay's. It's just Jay's Smokehouse.
Jay's Smokehouse is on 96th Street.
Okay.
I believe that's it. I think they may have just relocated.
Okay.
To that spot.
All right. Well, now our phones are lighting up, Mitch. We've confused people greatly, and so they're chiming in now, which is good. We need to know the answers to these questions. Yeah, Steve says tell Mitch Jay's is on 96 and M. So I think that might be the answer right there. All right.
I need to know if it was in Papillion.
What did you take from Rhule today? Once we were just talking about how our days are all thrown off now because he did his Thursday press conference on a Wednesday and the game is on a Friday, and it's all very, very confusing. the Mazuka thing now all of a sudden becomes interesting again because he is apparently available but not starting tomorrow on Friday.
That was a change from Monday when he said, don't expect Micah Mazuka to play or he's not available. We won't see him this week. He's been practicing. He's working some things out, progressing. And if needed, he can play. He'll be dressed on the sideline. He's available. Henry Lutovsky is getting the start at right guard. It kind of sounded like if Lutovsky were to get hurt, they would go to Mazuka, but otherwise expect Lutovsky to play the whole game.
It's that's different. That is interesting. Now I don't know what the heck is going on but behind the scenes on that one, but it's nice to know, I guess, that Nebraska is they may have him available if they need to pull that ripcord on Friday. And it does, Mitch, like I think he's a good player to have available. Not that they don't have like adequate backups, but a good player to have available in the sense that, you know, he's a pretty physical presence on that offensive line. And the main point that they've been driving home this week is about how physical Illinois' defense is going to be.
Yeah, I think he's the most physical offensive lineman on Nebraska's roster. And you can make a case for Ben Scott. And I think, you know, Bryce Benhart, physicality isn't necessarily his forte. I mean, he's a good pass blocker. And Justin Evans, he's a physical guy, not as big, not nearly as big as Mazuka. Mazuka is just kind of a beast, like we've talked about before. Best run blocker on the team, and you know, he plays with attitude, which is what you'd like to have in these Big Ten games.
How do you think Nebraska will hold up from a running offense? Like they've gotten away from maybe that a little bit. Now they're playing the games that they're playing, and against Northern Iowa, they wanted to throw it around a little bit. Do we really have an answer yet on how Nebraska will be able to, you know, efficiently, conventionally run the football? Or is that still an unanswered question with this group?
It's unanswered. We saw it a time or two against Colorado, and you saw that when Nebraska did want to commit to the power run game, that it did a really good job with Dante Dowdell. But that was Colorado, who probably doesn't put up much of a fight with its defensive front in comparison to what you'll see with Illinois and everyone else. Just about everyone else in the Big Ten. I don't know about Purdue, but just about I don't know about UCLA. Other than that, everyone else on Nebraska's schedule, I think, is going to have a defense that's better equipped to stop the run than what Colorado put out there. So we don't know. I don't have good reason to believe that this team is going to be deficient in the power run game. I think they can do it. They were able to do it last year. A lot of that was QB run. So maybe get Heinrich Harburg in there, stand him next to Dylan Raiola. I really think that they could do that. Watching some of the film back from the game last year, Nebraska, Illinois, that was a big part of Nebraska's game plan, was to set the tone physically. And for the most part, they did it with the quarterback. The Nebraska's touchdown that really gave the Huskers separation in that game, 17-0 in the first half, was just a bulldozer run by Harburg straight through the middle of the Illinois defense, like kind of a demoralizing. That was where you said, okay, this game is early, but it's probably not going to flip in Illinois' direction. It didn't. So it'd be nice for Nebraska, I think, if they could find a way to incorporate that. Like, that's the beauty of this. And Rhule talked about it again on Wednesday. Illinois has to be wary now of number 10 coming into the game, and not just playing wildcat quarterback, but doing other stuff, catching passes. We saw that against UNI, and then running the ball too, like taking a handoff from Raiola. That it just causes them to be back on their heels a little bit more. And I think there's real value. You heard Urban Meyer and Jerry DiNardo get into that conversation this week on BTN. I really think there's something there, especially if Nebraska continues to feature that. And it would answer the question of, like, what are they going to do when they've got to be a power run team other than just give it to Dowdell?
Yeah. Paring down, I mean, Harburg is another guy that kind of gets introduced into the game plan this past week. And like you said, maybe there is a role, you know, for him doing that going forward. They've had flashes from guys like Barney, flashes from guys like Nelson, then you know who your steady contributors are going to be catching the football, and then your runners as well. Do you feel like they need to pare that down, or will that naturally happen as the games sort of change and become a little bit more consistent going into conference play?
I think it's good to have this big wide variety. I think this isn't basketball where it's like, oh, they're going with a 10-man rotation, man. They're going to have to pare that down, like for the flow of the offense. I don't think it's like that. As long as you've got a quarterback who's willing and is capable of distributing it to a variety of weapons, and it's not a situation where he's way more comfortable throwing only to 3 guys, then I think you mix it up. One, it's going to keep these players fresh, and you're not going to be dependent. We've seen Nebraska offenses get way too dependent on one player, whether that was the quarterback or even like a Wan'Dale Robinson in his last year at Nebraska. You want to avoid that, obviously, and they're far from that with what they've got. They're the opposite of that with what they've got in the mix this year. Yeah, there's at the running back spot, you can rely on, you can spread it out too much.
Agreed.
And they've been cognizant to find 1, 2, even 3 backs, like get away from the 4-man rotation at receiver, and the way that you get the ball into the hands of different playmakers. I mean, Barney can get it in a bunch of different ways. Bonner can get it in a bunch of different ways. The more that you put on tape and the more weapons that you have, the better it is for everyone, even if their individual numbers aren't as dazzling, because it just makes the defense work that much harder.
Yep. I think they're doing, generally, and the Rhule did say, hey, look, there's some other stuff. We wanted to put that on tape so the other people kind of basically just the other teams waste their time working on stuff. So they're putting a bunch of stuff out in front of people right now. But generally, I still think, Mitch, what they're doing is what the game is calling for at this point. Like he said that as it pertained to Carter Nelson, like, the Colorado game wasn't going to be a Carter Nelson game, and this game was going to be. And like, that's all based on how they feel they can do some of their work against the defenses that they're facing. On paper, I'm fine with that. Like, that's a good explanation of how it's been so far.
I think that as they get further into the season and he's more comfortable and they're able to give him more responsibilities and play in more pack. He only played 10 plays in the last game, and he had a team high 4 catches and a touchdown. So as they build that repertoire for him, I think every game is going to be a Carter Nelson game.
Yep. It's it'll start to get to that point. That's for sure. Little by little, that, as Rhule said after the game on Saturday night, he's kind of mastered all the tasks that they gave him so far. All right, Mitch, we'll let you go. Appreciate you taking the time as always, and we will see you on Friday night.
Okay, thanks a lot, guys.
It's Mitch Sherman of The Athletic, also of the Locked On Nebraska podcast, where he does takes on a microphone.
Mitch Sherman takes.
Yep, each day. Wow. A lot of conversation about good barbecue in the O.
Yeah, what do you got?
We don't have I still maintain that we don't have the one. Now, I like hearing from the people who would know about, like, this is the one, but I hear a lot of different places. So the Jays thing has come up now.
I'm going to need Michael Severe's opinion on this.
Now, he always loved the place that went away.
Uh-huh. So did my dad, by the way. My dad loved my dad ate there at least once a week.
I went to that place. Oscar is saying Porky Butts.
I like Porky Butts.
I think that's a good place too. Do we need a barbecue? Like, do we need a barbecue? Like, is Omaha's barbecue scene lacking because it is overshadowed by the town 3 hours south?
Okay.
Is it possible that we just never really did it well because we're in the shadow of Kansas City?
Are we too focused on steak here?
We have something that we do well. Why try to do? But now it's kind
of we never dabbled in barbecue.
Maybe it's possible. I don't want to. And by the way, shout out to all of the barbecue restaurants here in town that are doing it really well. It's just that we've never come together and said, this is the one. You know,
I would like us to decide.
It's a nice thing. Yeah, it's a nice thing to say.
Mm-hmm.
It's a nice suggestion to have to like, hey, if you got a barbecue, where should I go?
We
don't have an answer.
Time.
We don't have an answer as a town. We need to come up with that right now. All right, we'll be back. We'll get to the polls. We'll tell you what to watch on the other side. On 1620 The Zone. Raven wonders from earlier, is this a pizza by Alfredo's Pizza Kitchen situation?
Definitely.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Kind of was, yeah. But we figured it out. We got to the bottom of it.
Famous original Rays or famous Rays?
All right, to the poll questions at Happer Show on the JTech Construction Zone Twitter feed. First and foremost, do you listen to Talk Tua?
Most voted on poll question of the day.
I'm going to guess 91% say no.
Connor, you are extremely close.
93% say no.
Mm-hmm.
Gary is one of the 7%.
We've said that about Gary before.
Is the penguin a penguin? No. This is obvious. The penguin's a human.
No.
The penguin's a man.
He was penguin-ish in Batman Returns.
I mean, he has the general shape of a penguin. That's why they call him the penguin, but he's not a penguin.
Right.
Not anatomically. 73% say no. And finally, did you know they were making the Booch in Hastings?
That is my favorite poll question of the day.
I did not.
Nope, not a clue.
88% also did not know they were making the Booch in Hastings.
Shocking.
Those are the polls, Josh. What are we watching tonight?
We're watching baseball on our TV. We've got the Cubs right now hosting the Oakland A's on MLB Network, which reminds me, change the TV, Connor.
Oh, yeah. Don't want to trigger John.
Twins and Guards, 540 MLB
Look
TV.
at that big score line on the bottom of the screen.
MLB TV free game of the day. Phillies Brewers 6:30 MLB Network. A Milwaukee win or a Chicago Cubs loss clinches the NL Central.
Baseball
for the Milwaukee Brewers. Yankees Mariners 8:40 on ESPN Plus or MLB Network. And Connor, yesterday we talked about True TV doing something that was like Squeeze Play.
Yeah.
Tonight on ESPN2 at 6:00, MLB Squeeze Play.
Interesting.
So
that's probably why they couldn't call it Squeeze Play.
Yeah, they'll be looking in around the league at various ballparks tonight on ESPN2. The Deuce, as people used to call it.
Yeah.
In the W.
I did watch, by the way, I watched like a half of an inning of a baseball game last night on Max. It was that Brewers game.
Okay.
It was on. It asked me if I wanted to watch it on Max, and I was like, "Let's do it. Let's get crazy.
Let's get weird." Atlanta at New York, 6:00 on NBA TV. And then the Fighting Caitlin Clarks are in our nation's capital.
Crap.
Tonight, 6:00.
Never got to that
Amazon
Caitlin
Prime.
Clark story.
Well, we had a busy last hour, just guest after guest after guest. And we had to talk about that kombucha story.
We did.
Yeah. Volleyball, Nebraska is calling this Final Four week.
This is a big.
It begins
big
tonight.
day.
Number 2 Stanford in Lincoln tonight to take on the 5th-ranked Huskers. 7:00 on the BTN. If you'd like to do a little opposition research, Nebraska's next opponent, 4th-ranked Louisville, takes on number 11 Kentucky tonight, 6:00 on ESPN. Also followed by a ranked versus ranked matchup in Baylor versus Texas.
Yeah,
if
so
you're interested.
This is a huge night for the sport.
Yes.
So you'll have Penn State Pitt tonight.
Oh,
that is a top 3 matchup.
Okay.
Then you have
Is
Louisville.
that on?
That is on the ACC network at 6.
Oh, okay.
Then you'll have Louisville and Kentucky at 6. Then you'll have Stanford and Nebraska at 7. And then Texas and Baylor at 8 on ESPN. Each of those teams are in the top 20 that I mentioned.
Mega volleyball night.
Yeah.
That's great.
And then you have your Final Four week there at the back down at the Yum Center.
The Yum Center.
The Yum Town this weekend.
Season 47 of Survivor premieres tonight on CBS. At 7:00, a group of 18 new castaways land in Fiji and compete in their first challenge to earn a pot, machete, and flint.
How many seasons did you say?
47.
Dear God.
We love it. And
we do not.
At 8, I don't. A lot of people in the building do, and that's great. I love that they love it. 8:00, Disney Plus, Marvel's latest television series, Agatha All Along.
Great.
2 episodes tonight.
Who will they have a cameo of in the first episode only to never reference it again?
Great take, Connor. An amazing take by you.
Thank you.
After a boy helps Agatha Harkness break free from a spell, he hopes to join her on a deadly journey.
I know how these shows work.
Do you remember WandaVision from like 11 years ago?
Yeah.
That's a spinoff of this. Certainly you remember the first half of WandaVision, which was a good show. And then the second half of WandaVision happened.
Yikes. That's how this goes. It's all a ploy. They get you on that first episode. I remember being excited for the first episode of Fuller House.
Yes.
And guess what? I got exactly what I wanted. I got everybody. I got everybody from Full House that was back, that was available. They all came. And guess what never happened after that? Any of them showed up.
And then in another 4 years, they'll go back and make Agatha All Along relevant to everything that they're doing. So you have to go back.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's all a trick. Thanks, Josh.
Thank you, Connor.
So we're watching tonight. That's the show. If you missed anything, you can find it all on our website, 1620thezone.com. The crossover is next.
First sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Small business owners, we know finishing your to-do list can feel like rowing upstream, but it's a river, a whitewater river, and the only paddles you have are pool noodles. Then when a new to-do pops up, you're like, nope, I'm already rowing upstream with these pool noodle paddles. At Progressive, we don't want to make your day any harder. That's why we make it easy to get personalized discounts with a commercial auto insurance quote online, so your to-do list is smooth sailing. See if you can save on commercial auto insurance in as little as 7 minutes at progressivecommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Coverages and discounts not available in all states and subject to policy terms and underwriting.
News Talk 1290 Coil is your radio home for Omaha Storm Chasers baseball, proud AAA affiliate of the Kansas City Royals. Tune in to hear every pitch, every hit, and every out as the Chasers play at Warner Park and across the International League in 2024. With the voice of the Omaha Storm Chasers, Nick Batters, on News Talk 1290 Coil.
Tune in to 1290 Coil all season long for your Omaha Storm Chasers baseball as they take on the International League. It's Storm Chasers baseball on 1290 Coil.
Tell us how you feel on the J-Tech Construction and Solar Zone Twitter feed. Reach Gary, Nick, Connor, Josh, and John anytime on the J-Tech Construction and Solar Zone Twitter feed. Contact the official exterior and solar experts of the Huskers. J-Tech Construction at yourexteriorexperts.com.
Get a full breakdown of what went right and what went wrong immediately after every Nebraska game with Big Red Overreaction, presented by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. Also brought to you by J. Stennett Contracting, Dingman's Collision Center and Mechanical Repair, Peerless Energy Systems, and No Name Nutrition. Immediately after the game, join the show and sound off with the good, the bad, and the ugly. Big Red Overreaction on 101.9 The Keg and 1620 The Zone. KOZ and Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs. This is 1620, The Zone.
Crossover just crossed him over. Absolutely. Another victim to the crossover. Cross him up and sit it down.
Time for the crossover powered by Concrete Repair in Omaha at everlevelconcrete.com. John, Josh, what's up, guys?
Hello. Hey. How are you?
I'm really good. Really good.
Oh, you're yelling. You are really good. I can barely hear him though. What's going on with that
Talking
microphone?
like normal.
There we go.
Oh, I hear him.
There we go.
Oh my God, I just realized something.
What?
Something that I was supposed to have done before I left home, I didn't do.
A video?
The drum down.
No, but it's something important to Nick.
Oh, to Nick. Oh, is it sharing audio with him?